So let's start with today's lecture. We have to cover, because yesterday we couldn't cover the topic completely. Yes, Darshan, good evening. So let's start with it. Now what we discussed is, we started with attitude. We understood the basic components of attitude. We understood how attitude gets formed, who all are the stakeholders or players who are playing the key role in building our attitude, right? We discussed all of this part. Now, one important thing is attitude and behavior link. We should know one thing, that attitude and behavior, they are mostly linked to one another. Whatever is your attitude, your behavior will be mostly on the same line. If your attitude is negative towards a person or towards a community or towards an idea, then your behavior will be on the same line. Let's say I do not like socialism. Just for the sake of example, I do not like socialism. My attitude is negative attitude towards the idea of socialism. So what will be my behavior? Whenever there will be a debate, whenever I'm talking to someone, I'm going to criticize socialism, the idea of socialism. So it is in my thought, and then it is reflecting in my action, that is behavior. And it's very common. It's very obvious that your attitude and your behavior is on the same line. If it is not on the same line, then it's a problematic stuff. Because if you feel positive about something and you have to act in a negative manner, then you will not feel good. Or the vice versa case, you feel negative about someone and you have to do positive with that person or with that stuff, then you will feel bad. So the point is, the linkage is very common. Attitude, behavior linkage is very common, it's very obvious, it's very natural. But what happens sometimes is this link gets broken due to some reason. We see there are people who have some kind of attitude, let's say negative attitude, but they're acting in a positive manner. Or they have positive attitude towards something, they're acting in negative manner. This linkage is getting broken. Now, why this link actually breaks? Number one reason is the social pressure. Man is a social animal, as I said. We are living in a society. We cannot live without society, and society will build some pressure on us. This social pressure which gets created leads to some kind of fear in us. We have a fear that there will be some backlash from the society. So for example, let's say you are an atheist. You don't believe in God and all. But at your home, when there is a puja going on or anything related to God is being discussed, you can't behave in an atheist manner. You have to sit in that puja. You have to at least show as if you are not atheist. So your attitude is of atheist, but here you are behaving like a theist person. So the point is, social pressure can create this fear, due to which attitude and this behavior link will be broken. Apart from that, sometimes people have some greed or aspiration. They want to become something. They want to become part of something. For example, let's say there is a political party. And this party is somewhat a communal party, let's say. You can take example from any country where you find any communal party. Now, there is a person who is aspiring to become a really good politician, okay? But he is not communal. He's a very secular kind of person. Now see the interesting scenario. The person is very secular, but because he wants to go ahead with his career in the politics, he wants to become a member of this political party and grow, he has some greed or he has some aspiration, anything. Because of this aspiration, when this person joins this party, he has to give speeches which are communal in nature. He has to speak on the lines of the political party. So attitude is different and behavior becomes different. So greed or aspiration could be one reason. Then sometimes your values can also disturb you. Now we know about values, right? You have some values which are very important for you. Obviously, you will adhere to those values. Now the point is, Let's say you have a negative attitude towards someone. You are very angry and you are in front of your enemy or a person whom you don't like. Now you want to slap this person or kill this person or whatever. Slap, not kill. Now here you are not slapping this person because she is a lady and you adhere to some values wherein your values say that you should not raise hand against any vulnerable group or raise hands against women or children. Because you adhere to these values, you are not able to go for the action which you want to. So although you have negative attitude, you will not slap. So your attitude behavior link will be disturbed over here. Apart from this, there are some personality factors also. For example, some people are very underconfident, some people are introvert, some people are submissive. So in the classroom, you must have seen many times, there are some students who know the answer. When a teacher asks any question, a student knows the answer but will not raise hand or will not tell the answer because this student is a very shy student. Very shy, very underconfident. He knows the answer but still he will not answer. Now if you check his attitude is to yes, tell the answer. He wants to, but he's not able to. So because of your personality also, sometimes this attitude behavior link will be broken. Apart from that, there is some role of strength of your attitude. Let's say you have positive or negative attitude towards something, but the strength of that attitude can also be different. Let's say your attitude says that if someone is in pain, you should help that person. Compassion is an important value for you. Empathy is an important value for you. We assume that, but it's not that strong. It's a weak value for you. And there could be another person for whom it's a very strong value. What will happen? This person might take actions. His behavior will show the importance of that attitude because he has positive attitude towards the vulnerable section. He will take some actions. He will volunteer. He will distribute some clothes or some money, whatever, something he will definitely do because his attitude is very strong. And because your attitude is weak, you're not able to get into the behavioral part. So here this link will be broken. For example, if we take the example of people who have directly experienced something, let's say we take the example of communal riots and all. A person who has experienced communal riot and a person who has studied about communal riots, these are two different individuals. A person who has just read about communal riot, he might have developed some kind of attitude, negative attitude towards a community, let's say, just for the sake of example, but that would be relatively weak. But a person who was part of it, he must have developed a very strong attitude. So in this person's behavior, you will definitely see that attitude. But there is a possibility in this person's behavior, it might not reflect because the attitude is very weak. It's not that strong. Okay. And the last thing is the specificity of the attitude. You observe one thing. Many people will have two different attitudes at one go if we give general example and if we give specific example. Let's say we ask people from Pakistan, what do you think about India? So India is a general example I have given them. Many will say that Indians are very bad, we don't like Indians. This just for the sake of example again I am saying. I assume this must be the case. So Indians are very bad, we hate Indians, we don't like Indians and all. Now I'll give them a specific example. What do you think about Kohli? Virat Kohli. Now most of them, what they will do is their attitude behavior link will be very different now. Generally, their attitude is negative towards Indians. But when I give them specific example, now their attitude, although the attitude is negative in behavioral terms, when they are speaking about Kohli, they'll speak positive. Kohli is very good. We like Kohli. We like Sachin Tendulkar. We like Shah Rukh Khan. So, the specificity of attitude, that has also some role in breaking the attitude behavior linkage. Okay, is this part clear? How attitude behavior link gets broken? Yes, Darshan? Any doubt till now? No? Okay. Now comes the most important segment of this attitude topic, that is changing the attitude. How we can change the attitude of someone. We are developing attitude. We have seen how attitude gets developed. Now the point is we want to change it. So how it happens, that's an important stuff. Now attitude can be changed in two ways, or rather there are two major types in which attitude can be changed. Let's say your attitude is positive towards something. Okay. Now it is, let's say, bit weaker. I can make it more positive. I can make it strong. If you already have positive or negative attitude towards something, and if I try to intensify it, I try to make it more positive or more negative, so you will move in the same direction in that attitude. I can strengthen your attitude. That is one type of a change. So let's say already you have communal thoughts, you have communal attitude, and now I'm continuously giving you some information. Some people who have communal attitude, if you keep on giving them some content or some information, let's say in newspaper or let's say through news media channels, through their WhatsApp, you're continuously giving them some information which makes their attitude stronger. So through this process, you're leading to this change in attitude where we are strengthening it. This is called as congruent attitude change. Okay, this terminology is not so important, but just the type you need to understand. Now there comes the second one, that is incongruent. If your attitude is positive towards something and now I'm trying to turn it into negative attitude, or the vice versa, I'm trying to make the negative attitude as positive. Now that is something very tough. That is very tough. Let's say a person is vegetarian and now you're trying to make this vegetarian person non-vegetarian. Okay, that's still easy for some people. There is a non-vegetarian person and now you have to convert this person into a vegetarian person. You have to change his attitude completely to change his behavior. So this is a very tough task to do, and that's what we are interested in, changing the attitude in this way. Okay. Now how we can change attitude of any person? First thing that you can do is you can give some additional information to that person. So let's say a person is non-vegetarian. You give him some information, some scientific evidence showing that if all the people become non-vegetarian, then the entire ecosystem might collapse. If you give such information to this person, and if this information is very honest and very positive, in that case, there is a possibility that this person's attitude might change. Another example could be, let's say Indians, the mainstream Indians who belong to the Hindu religion. Now, many of these people, they have some negative attitude towards people living in Northeast. So if we take example of Manipur, let's say, so they have negative attitude towards Manipuri people. Now you start giving some additional information to these people that, do you know Manipuris are Hindu? Now as soon as you give this information, this person will start thinking, and slowly his attitude might change. That yes, Manipuris are also good people. We shouldn't have that negative attitude towards them. So this is one way, additional information. Second way to change someone's attitude is through the enforced contract. What do I mean by that? Enforced contract. So you do one thing. Let's say there are two people. Both have negative attitude towards one another, because let's say you come from one state, you come from Karnataka, other person comes from Maharashtra, and let's say both of them have very different ideas against each other. Now here what we'll do is we will put these two people at one place. Let's say in Labasna. In Labasna, many times we heard this news that in the hostels they put people of different cadre or people of different state together. So in one room, one person is from Nagaland, one person is from Gujarat. Now, this is an enforced contract. Whether you like it or you don't like it, you will have to communicate with this person. You will have to get in touch with this person. And through communication, slowly your attitude will change, because earlier you might had some kind of stereotypes or some negative ideas about this person or the culture of this person. But when you start gelling up with this person, slowly you will get to know that no, I was not completely right as such about them. So this is how your attitude will be changed here. Then third method, changing the role. So I had given this example earlier. Let's say there is a child who doesn't know what his mother is exactly doing, what she goes through. You do one thing. For just one day, make this child perform all the tasks performed by his mother. And in just one day, after performing all these tasks, he will change his attitude towards his mother. Earlier, he used to think that my mother is useless, she doesn't do anything, she doesn't earn anything. But now when he gets into her fit, when he is working, he'll get to know that my mother works way more than my father is working. That's a difference. Or let's say there is a person whose attitude towards, let's say, some people who are cleaning the floor, or any such person who is at a bit vulnerable position, or who is not earning much, whose condition is not really good. His attitude might be negative towards such persons. But when he gets into that work, if you make that person work the way that person is working just for one day, his attitude will change. So role changing, change his role. Whatever he was doing, make him do something else, change his role. The next is changing the position in the group. Now let's say there is a person who is living in villages, or he was living in one village. Now because he was living in village where the traditional society exists, he has thoughts, he has ideas which are based in the traditional setup. For example, he believes in caste system, he believes in Varna system, he believes in that inequality. But now this person gets into urban sphere or gets into a university where he's getting some higher education. Let's say he's doing BA or MA from JNU, where he's continuously getting the information on the new ideas, and he's getting different ideas. Why he's getting different ideas? Because earlier he was living in one group, and now you have changed his group altogether. Earlier he was living in a village where everyone was the same, everyone was giving him the same ideas. Now he got into another group, and because of the environment of this group, his attitude will change. Slowly he will also get that idea that caste system is not that good, right? Now this is one way you can change the group altogether. Or you remain in the same group and we will change your position in that group. Just remain part of the same group, but let's change your position. So you see, there are sometimes it happens with many people that at their family some incident takes place, suddenly death of father, let's say father died. Now the child is hardly of 12, 13, 14 years, 15 years. Till now this child was considered to be a child. But suddenly after the death of father, this child turns into an adult person. He becomes responsible. His attitude towards his family members changes suddenly. Or if you take another example, let's say you belong to a majority community. In your society, you belong to majority community. Now you have a very different attitude towards the minority community. Let's say you have a very negative attitude towards the minority community. Now we'll do one thing. In the same society, when everything is going on, we will put you in the minority group just for few days. You are part of the majority group only. It's not like we have changed your religion or something. It's just that you are getting into the activities of this minority group. There is a possibility where you will see some change in your attitude when you when you are with them, when you are looking them, when you are trying to know things what they are doing. So that's how your attitude changes. Then there will be some role of your personality. So sometimes what happens, your personality changes to some extent. It happens. It's not like it is going to happen in just 1 day or 2 days. It's going to happen with time. Yes, Darshan, what are you asking about? Example about what exactly? Okay, trying to give an example. Okay, very good, no issues. So I'm saying your personality also changes with time. Now this part we discussed when we were discussing that moral development part and all, that even people's moral value sets change with time. What is important for them, that changes with age, right? So with age things might change, or people are extrovert, with time they become little introvert, or people are very introvert and with time they become bit extrovert. Such changes take place, and such changes will also change your attitude. Okay, because see, if you were an introvert person, so what was your attitude towards society or any social gathering? Let's say there's a marriage taking place, let's say your parents are calling you, let's go to this marriage. You are like, no, I don't want to go. Why you don't want to go? Because you are a very introvert person. You don't like social gatherings. You don't want to be part of it. But as your personality changes to some extent, now you will start liking it a bit. So there will be some change in the attitude. Okay. And the last is persuasion and propaganda. Now this is something very interesting. It is possible that you have negative or positive attitude towards something, but some other person can persuade you to change your attitude towards that thing. Maybe you don't like, let's say you don't like pomegranates, just for the sake of example, that you don't like a particular fruit. But suddenly you met a doctor who started giving you some information. He said that if you just eat pomegranates every single day, your skin will become really good. You will look like a celebrity. Now, first of all, this doctor told you, so you trust that whatever information he is giving, it's a very credible information, very authentic information. And he has given you this information, which has given you some clarity on this particular fruit or pomegranate. Now, what you will do? Even if you did not like it, now slowly your attitude will change, right? So persuasion, if someone can persuade you to change your attitude, then your attitude can change. Similarly, propaganda can also work in the same manner. So we'll understand this part in detail, persuasion and propaganda. Now when we are doing persuasion, so the person, if I am trying to persuade you, I am going to convince you, and this I am doing very consciously. It's a very conscious communication. I am doing it deliberately and very consciously. I know that I am trying to change your mind. So it's a process wherein we are convincing someone through some conscious communication, and the goal is to change this person's attitude. That's the core purpose or core goal. Now even your parents do this thing, if you have ever observed. Since childhood, you don't like to do something. Let's say you're not drinking milk in the childhood. So your parents will say something, do something, whatever. They'll say that you will look very good, everyone will like you if you drink milk, whatever. They'll make any story out of it. But somehow, whether that information is right or wrong, it doesn't matter. It could be wrong information altogether. But with that message, with that signal, with that conscious communication, I am trying to convince you. And if you got convinced, your attitude will change. And that's what we call as persuasion. Okay, many people will do this thing. Your parents do, your teachers do, Your friends or peer group, they will also do. So I give you that example of smoking. What your peer group will do, bro, you will feel really good. Just try once. They will convince you, even if you had a very clear-cut idea or clear attitude that smoking, no. But now, with your friends who are very convincing friends, they can change your attitude. This is the process of persuasion. So, political leaders, advertisements, religious leaders, books, all of them are actually trying to persuade you. Marketing, when we use the term marketing, that's nothing but a process of persuasion done by corporates or private entities, or even government agencies do this thing many a times, right? They are persuading you to do something. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? Yes, persuasion is a good thing or a bad thing. Like this car gives good mileage, like this car gives prestige. Yes, very good. Yeah, persuasion is good thing or bad thing? Good or bad? No, it can be good, it can be bad, depends on the intent of the person, what his intention is. That also matters, right? But mostly when we look at these people, your parents, when they are trying to persuade, mostly they are right, mostly that is for the positive stuff, but it's not necessary. So for example, your parents might persuade you to go for what we call as arranged marriage. So we can't clearly say that it's a good thing or a bad thing, right? It depends on the intent. We'll first see the intent. We'll also see the outcome. Later on we'll decide. Okay, so depends on situation, right? Now what is propaganda? Propaganda is a kind of persuasion which is very much continuous, well structured and very selective. What these political parties or the IT cells of political parties, these people, what they try to do is propaganda many a times, wherein they will give you very selective information. Sometimes they even give you wrong information or misinformation, right? And they will keep on giving it to you continuously. They will speak the similar stuff again and again through different mediums. On your cell phone you will get, on your WhatsApp you will get one message. In the newspaper you will get something, in the news channel you will get something, in the speeches of these political leaders. That's how they structure it really well and continuously in a repeated manner. They keep on speaking something to convince you. Now this is a propaganda where mostly the goal is to manipulate you. Manipulate so that they can get some benefit out of it. So let's say a politician or a political party is trying to manipulate you so that you vote for this particular party. Now that's a propaganda. It's a kind of persuasion done in order to manipulate this public opinion. Okay? Clear? Persuasion, propaganda. Persuasion is more important. Now, when someone is persuading you, look at few things. That this person must have some qualities. When you're trying to persuade someone, there must be some qualities in you. First of all, this information, whatever information you are giving, the source should be very much credible. So you must have seen some advertisements in the TV channels that some doctor or a dentist will advertise a particular toothpaste, that there is salt in the toothpaste or whatever. Now, although that person is not a dentist, but he is wearing the clothes of a dentist, he is portraying himself as dentist. Now, why this advertisement is trying to show a dentist? Because a dentist is someone who is considered to be a credible source for giving this information about your health, about your tooth. So, the knowledge should come from a credible source. If there is a credible source, people will accept it easily. People will get persuaded very easily. This is important. Credibility matters. If just anyone is speaking, anyone is giving you some kind of knowledge, people will not listen to this person. They need credible source. And if you are a credible person, now you speak whatever, there is a possibility they will listen to you. That's the reason people go and ask many gurus and babas, because they consider he is a very credible person and they'll ask anything to these gurus or these babas. Second, if you're an influential person, if you're a very influential person, you can very easily change the attitude of someone. You can persuade someone very easily. For example, Amir Khan or Akshay Kumar. Now, Amir Khan has been doing that Satyamev Jayate show, or he was trying to persuade people to use this rainwater, to go for some rainwater harvesting. Now, when he tries, if I or you try to do this thing, nobody is going to get persuaded easily. But when Amir Khan does, people get persuaded very easily. Similarly, Akshay Kumar talking about sanitary napkins. So these are very influential people. So if you're influential, then you can persuade very easily. Third, similarity with the people. Let's say you want to go for some social reform in your society or the religion to which you belong to. You found out that there are so many problems in the religion and you want to make some reforms in that. And you also belong to the same religion. Now, because you belong to the same community, and when you raise your voice, there is a chance people will listen to you. There's a chance people will get persuaded because of your words or your actions. But if one person from another community, he starts criticizing this religion, then people will not listen. Okay, so if you belong to the same community, if you show some similarity with the same people, then people might get persuaded. That's the reason it is said that if you want to bring in uniform civil code, or if you want to bring in some reforms in a particular community, then those reforms should come from the same community altogether. Okay, so someone from the community should come forward and speak about those evils or evil practices happening in that community. Okay, then if you are attractive, that also works. If you are attractive, so again, if we take example of Amir Khan or any model or any movie star, if you look attractive, then that thing also works. So if we talk about modeling, what the companies do, the corporates, they pay to these models. Why? Because they just look good. Models look really good, and they will give them clothes, and these people will just show off, click some photographs, and these clothes or these shirts and pants or whatever, these corporates are going to sell at a higher cost. They're able to do this because these people are attractive, and people will get persuaded towards their brand. Positive attitude will be developed towards their brand because of this attractiveness. Then, if you are a very high-speed orator means one who can speak in a very good manner, and that too in a high-speed manner. Why high-speed? Because if you speak very slow, people get time to think upon whatever you're speaking. So whatever I'm telling you right now, if I give you enough time, you will think about it, whether he's right or wrong. They will evaluate. But in case I'm speaking very fast and I'm a good orator, I'm continuously convincing you. I can give you wrong information also, and I can convince you very easily. So that's how I can persuade, right? Then your apparent ulterior motives should not be visible. Let's say I am trying to persuade you. It is very much important that whatever is my hidden agenda is to persuade you, change your attitude. But when I'm trying to do this thing, I will not let you understand that I'm trying to change your attitude. I'll not tell my hidden agenda. So my motive, ulterior motive, my hidden motive should not be visible, right? So if you have got all these qualities in you, then you are a very good persuader. You can persuade people, you can persuade many people. So this is very important, even for a civil servant to understand. Now, this content you can even utilize in case studies. If any situation is given wherein there is some chaotic condition, or let's say a disaster has taken place, any let's say conflict between two parties is taking place, whatever is the situation where you have to take a call, you have to persuade people. In that situation, you can write in your answer that these are the qualities that I'll be showing over here. So you can use this content and apply it in those case studies wherever required. Okay. So this is all about the persuasion. Now there is one small concept called as cognitive dissonance. What do we mean by dissonance or cognitive dissonance? So sometimes it happens that there is some inconsistency between attitude and behavior, or one attitude and other attitude. We have two attitudes. So if you remember, we talked about that example wherein I like Rasgulla and I have a diabetes also, so I don't like Rasgulla because it's a poison for me. So I have positive as well as negative attitude towards something. Or let's say I have two different attitudes which are conflicting, which are in conflict, or my attitude and behavior link is getting broken. Whenever such a situation happens, that's a case of cognitive dissonance. Normally what happens? Our attitude, whatever is our attitude, in the same direction our behavior will be there, right? And if we have two attitudes, attitude 1 and attitude 2, mostly they won't be in conflict. They won't be in conflict. But in case there is a conflict, you should be very clear what to do. Otherwise, you will be under stress. If you have negative attitude towards something and you have to do positive thing, then there will be some stress that will be developed in you. Okay. Now, when I say dissonance only, I am talking about the case wherein your attitude 1 and attitude 2 are in conflict. Okay. Or your attitude and behavior, this link has got broken. Okay, these are not matching. This is the situation of dissonance. But it becomes cognitive dissonance when you start knowing about it. Cognitive means your brain, you're using your mind, your reason, you're thinking upon it. I'll give you the best example to understand this. So let's say you are a leftist person. Let's say you're studying in JNU or somewhere, whatever. You are a leftist person. You claim that you're a leftist person. You have leftist attitude. You speak also, your behavior is on the same line. You talk about leftist, usually talk about equality, right? Now, equality in all terms, leftist will say this caste system is not good. Right? You clearly say this thing, you clearly claim. When you were in JNU, you were claiming this with all your friends. And after some time, we got to know that when your sister was getting married, you were part of the plan wherein you people decided that she will marry with a person who belongs to the same caste. So see the difference. See the difference in your attitude and the behavior. Your attitude is caste system is wrong. Marrying the caste is not that good thing as such. But now when it comes to your sister's marriage, what you're doing is you will marry in the same caste. Right? Or if you take one example from modern history, Keshav Chandra Sen. He was of the opinion that child marriage is not a good thing. And then he himself has gone for the same. This is a dissonance. This is dissonance. I'm calling only this situation as dissonance and not cognitive dissonance. When it becomes cognitive dissonance, when you're making your sister marry in the same caste and you're not feeling any stress as such, but in that marriage, one of your friend from the JNU came and he started questioning that You used to be leftist, you claim you are very leftist person, you don't believe in caste system and all. What you are doing with your sister? You are a very, what we call, Hippocratic person. Now when this person said this thing, now you started thinking on this dimension. Now you acknowledge that yes, there is inconsistency. There is inconsistency between my attitude and behavior. This consistency has got broken. Now this is the case where what will develop in you is the stress. You will feel bad about yourself or your action. So this is something which we don't want. Nobody wants to be in stress. Nobody wants to feel this. So the state of cognitive dissonance is a state which is not so comfortable for anyone. Nobody is comfortable in this situation, right? And the reasons for this cognitive dissonance could be anything. But one could be you're very ignorant, you don't have enough knowledge. Because of ignorance, you're doing this action. That is possible. Maybe you have some greed or fear. Maybe in this case, this person had fear of his family members, of his society, or what people will say. That kind of fear, because of which also he might have done, or some kind of greed. Maybe the people on the other side were paying a lot of money, or her sister might be going to a family who is, the family is very rich. So some greed dimension came into picture. That's possible. Or this induced compliance, that means there is immense pressure of the father. Father is not ready to listen. Immense pressure is there, or coercion is there. Forcefully, this action is getting done. In that case also, you might go against your attitude and do something. Okay. So for example, this progressive person, this leftist progressive person, most probably we find the reason not as ignorance, not as greed, not rather as the induced compliance as the real reason behind his behavior. That his family was not at all ready to listen to him. So under pressure, he agreed to this part. Okay. Just remember one line about it. Cognitive dissonance is a state of inconsistency between two attitudes or attitude and behavior, and this leads to stress in any individual. Clear? Now, the solution part. We understood the problem. Now, what's the solution? Solution is very clear. If your attitude and behavior are not matching with one another, do one thing, either change your attitude or change your behavior. So this leftist person should clearly change his attitude that no yaar, caste system is good, caste system is okay. He should make this attitude. Means from positive to negative, whatever it is, he should change his attitude. Now he'll be okay. Yeah, I believe in caste system and now I got my sister married in my same caste. So now there won't be any stress as such because he changed his attitude. Or the second case could be change your behavior. Change your behavior. Your attitude is clear that caste system is wrong. Take a stand. Change your behavior. Don't agree with your parents. Change your behavior. So that's how. If you change your attitude or behavior, then at least you will come out of this cognitive dissonance, which is a very stressful situation. You will get out of it. Then some people, what they do, they collect some additional information. So for example, some people, they like to have alcohol. See the difference in the attitude. Here in this example, we talked about attitude and behavior. Difference in the attitude. One attitude says alcohol is good because he likes likes alcohol. Other attitude says alcohol is bad. It's very unhealthy and there will be health impact. So positive and negative, both attitudes are present. Now this person will get into this cognitive dissonance state. So now what this person can do is he can take some extra knowledge, additional information. He will collect some additional information which will make him feel good, and one of the attitude will be taken out. So for example, he will say, He'll read somewhere and he'll say, bro, even medicine has got alcohol. Now this is an additional information. Medicine also has got alcohol. Why should I worry? So his positive attitude will continue. Or what people in Delhi do, many of times I've observed personally, that we say that there is so much pollution in Delhi and already your lungs are getting affected. Now additionally, when you are smoking, you are affecting your lungs so badly that you can't even imagine, right? If normally people's lungs are getting affected to 10%, for the people who are smokers, it is 50%. Now what these people will do? They will come up with some additional information saying that, why should I worry about cigarette? Or why should I worry about smoking? They read somewhere in the newspaper that the pollution is Delhi is of such a kind that it is equal to smoking 30 cigarettes. So any person who is not even a smoker, because of the air quality of Delhi, it is equivalent to 30 cigarette smoking just because he's living there. So they'll tell this information to themselves to convince themselves that, bro, you're on the right track. Your attitude, this first attitude, that positive attitude towards smoking, is the right attitude. This is one way, collecting additional information to come out of cognitive dissonance. Out of these two attitudes, you'll remove one attitude and just keep one because you got one extra information. Or what they will do is, they will trivialize. Hey, it's just alcohol, man. It's a very trivial thing. It's a very small thing. I shouldn't think about it. So they'll start ignoring things. They'll start trivializing it, making it a very small thing. Why should we worry about alcohol? It's a very minor thing. So when you trivialize something, again you get out of this stress. Okay? This is the direct solution that can be used to come out of cognitive dissonance. Other way could be, go for some indirect solutions. Now there is something called self-affirmation. So in self-affirmation, you keep on telling something continuously. So what people do, my car pollutes, but I also plant many trees and all, so it's okay. Means this person has got negative attitude and positive attitude together. He knows that his car pollutes, he should not use his car, he should use public transport. But then he will keep on telling himself that it's okay, even if I pollute, I also plant some trees, so I'm making those corrections, net zero. So such self-affirmation, this is something he's telling, he keeps on telling himself. That's one way. Or some people go for intoxication. They'll take alcohol and they'll be like, why should we worry, man? People who get into the state of cognitive dissonance and they're not able to handle this stress and they're not able to do any of these solutions, one of the best way for them is to have some alcohol and get rid of the stress for some time period. Obviously, till the time that alcohol works on your brain, till that time you are at least out of this dissonance stage. And the last state is avoid the situation altogether. Anytime someone is asking you about this thing, or anytime you're getting any such thought about it, you'll just avoid that situation. You'll just, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to talk about it. So you run away. You run away. Running away from that thing, that if someone is saying, bro, your attitude was positive about it and you're doing negative, what you will do? You'll just run away from the situation. You'll not accept it. So this is one way you can get out of cognitive dissonance. Clear? Now just one small thing and we'll complete this chapter of attitude, that is social influence. Although you have understood social influence already, when we discussed values and all, you have understood the role of society, and if you have understood the persuasion and all that part, now you can understand that people or society, every member of society, every segment of society has some role to play in influencing you. So social influence, it is the influence of society or social groups on an individual with respect to our attitudes. So you belong to a particular group and this group has some impact on you. So your attitude started changing because you are part of this group. right? The group could be your religious group, or you work somewhere, that company, whatever, or your family. All these influences are the social influences. And this social influence has very high impact on you. Sometimes it is even 100% impact. So there are many people, if you check their thoughts, if you check their attitudes, it is very similar or 100% similar to the group they belong to. So you check the attitude of a particular group and check the attitude of this person. It's exactly same. There is no change at all. So this is where the socialization process happened very much nicely. The social influence is 100% on this particular person. Okay, this happens. Now, there are some ways through which this social influence can take place. So some methods, like one is called as compliance. So let's say you have to comply to the orders given by government. You comply. When you comply, slowly, attitude starts developing. So you are complying because government has said that if you don't comply, we will punish you. So let's say just for the sake of example, in the lockdown, government said you will not go outside. Now earlier you had very negative attitude towards this thing, that there should be freedom of movement. You had this idea, no matter what, there should be freedom of movement. That was your thought. But when government started mandating it, you had to comply. Slowly your attitude started changing, that no, sometimes we should restrict the freedom of movement, sometimes when it is emergency. So your attitude starts changing, right? So who has influenced? It's the entire government which has influenced you. That was a social impact. Some other way is the identification. Now here the emotional angle will come into picture. So maybe you like Ramdev Baba, you like some influential figure, because of which you get influenced. So these influential people are part of the society. You get influenced. Whatever they are doing, you will also start doing. Whatever is their attitude, you will also start developing that attitude. Third thing is internalization. Now this is very deeper. The attitude gets developed, and that is very deeply internalized in you. So especially when you are interacting with your family members since childhood, many values were inculcated, many attitudes got developed. So your father was very patriarchal, your mother was also very patriarchal, you also became very patriarchal. Your attitude is very positive towards patriarchy. Now this is where I see internalization. That attitude has been developed in such a way that it is very deep within you. Okay, so these are different ways through which social influence takes place, and how you can save yourself from social influence. Let's say you don't like this social influence, you want that my individual thoughts, my individual attitude should come out. Because when I look at things, it seems like whatever society wants, that is the stuff I'm doing. Whatever society wanted me to think, whatever society wanted me to develop as attitude, that I have developed. This is something I don't like. So if I want to know the real me, I want to know my real attitudes, not the ones which society has given to me, my own attitudes. Or if you want to save yourself from this kind of social influence, what is the way? One way is get additional information. Study and get additional information. Only that information, the additional cognitive process, will at least save you from some social influence. So when you study about caste system, when you get this information, you discuss with people, then what will happen? Things change. Your thoughts about the caste system change, your attitude changes. Or change affiliations. So first you were in this party, now change your party, change your group. If you change this affiliation, slowly your attitude will also change. Or just avoid these people. Introverts. Best way is what introverts do. They avoid people. They avoid social gatherings. They avoid social stuffs. They try to remain outside. That is one way. And one thing which many officers do, escape mechanism. Now let's say there is a society where child marriage is common. Let's say it's very common, and now the child marriage is taking place. Now there is a police officer, and he's also very patriarchal. He's also having those thoughts that child marriage is okay. What's wrong in it? Now the law demands that child marriage should not take place. Chief Minister has given clear orders. You have got orders from your seniors that at no cost child marriage should take place in your district or in your area. Now what this police officer will do? Look at his own attitude. Even his attitude is positive towards child marriage. He's okay with it. But he has pressure. He has this professional pressure that he has to comply to his rules for the job. So here he uses the escape mechanism. He'll simply say that I'll have to implement it no matter what, otherwise I'll lose my job. So he will do this. So how his attitude now will change? Because of this job, his attitude will change. He's just using one escape mechanism. He also has this social influence. The society in which this child marriage is taking place, the society is not allowing him to stop this marriage. Neither he wants to stop the marriage. See, he is a product of society. That's why he is okay with this child marriage. But he's getting rid of it through this escape mechanism. Okay? So that's all about social influence. So some other methods apart from compliance identification, some other methods with its application in public policies is something I've mentioned here, which you can read. See, when you are on the ground as a district magistrate, when you're working or policies are being made or policies are being implemented, you can make use of this social influence in the direction where you can implement your policies for a good cause. You can try to make use of these things. Okay, so for example, if there are some influential people, you can use those influential people for, let's say, spreading the information about a particular scheme or something. So how you can use it, that's very important. Okay, so this is the stuff I'll leave here for you people to read. It's very easy, not a big deal as such. One thing you need to know is bureaucratic morality and bureaucratic attitude. UPSC keeps on asking about this stuff. So let's just have a brief idea about it. Now when we say bureaucratic morality, so just imagine a bureaucrat, how he thinks, what are his value sets, what kind of attitude he has. You will easily understand his morality. So first of all, this person is very rule bound. He gives so much importance to rules or procedures. No matter what, a bureaucrat is not going to go against the procedures. He will not deviate away from the rules. This is part of his value system. Obeying the rules, obeying the formal rules is very important for him. Second thing, there is obedience towards hierarchy. So bureaucracy has an organizational setup where there is hierarchy. So one senior officer will give some order to the junior, this junior will give an order to the junior. That's how the entire structure is working. Here, obedience towards whatever order has been given, that is considered very important. So as soon as the senior has given any order, this person is going to execute it, is going to obey it, right? So importance to hierarchy, importance to rules. Then emotionless, impersonal conduct. Whatever rules they are implementing on ground, they will be very emotionless about it while implementing. So in the COVID times, if people are coming out, normal people, okay, the migrants and all, and a police officer had got very clear instructions from his senior that you have to remove these people from this road right away, or let's say some protests are going on, and this officer got clear instructions that I don't know anything, this road should be cleared in next 10 minutes. What this police officer will do? He'll use whatever force he has, and he'll be very emotionless while performing this task. Otherwise, if he gets into this emotional segment, he can't perform this task, right? So this is one important thing. Then they focus on legality and not personal ethics. We studied about this thing, that ethics and morality could be different. Sometimes entire society thinks in this direction and you think in this direction. Your morality could be different. Personal ethics. When we say personal ethics, we're talking about your morality. It is possible that whatever rule or whatever law is saying, you don't like it. But when you are part of bureaucracy, no matter what your personal views are, no matter what your personal values are, you will just give importance to the rule or legality, right? And there will be some predictability and uniformity in your behavior. All the officers will more or less behave in the same manner, work in the same manner. There is uniformity and there is predictability. Then these people will avoid favoritism or bias. Bureaucracy is expected to do this thing, that you will not be biased towards one particular community, one particular political party or any group as such, right? And very less discretion as much as possible. Discretion becomes less with rules. Whenever there is a fixed rule and the rule is also given in elaborate manner, there is very less discretion available with this officer, right? So these are all the features of bureaucratic morality, right? That's how a bureaucrat thinks. That's how a bureaucrat gives importance to things. That's how his morality is built in. And why bureaucratic morality is of this kind, there's a core purpose behind it. So there's a very famous thinker called as Max Weber, who has talked about bureaucracy and this bureaucratic morality. He says one purpose is to ensure neutrality and objectivity. When you're getting into this administration, objectivity and neutrality are very important. Now, this is something I'll discuss when I start getting into the sphere of foundational values. So we'll deal with that part. Then we want to protect people against corruption and arbitrariness and maintain some consistency in the administration. We are bringing bureaucrats so that we can have a uniform, similar kind of consistent administration throughout the country. And for that, we need some people who adhere to these things. We expect bureaucrats to be of this kind. So this is present in bureaucratic morality. Okay. Now, whether it's good or bad, some things are good, but few things become bad also. Now, instead of judging it as good or bad, we will see the difference between a bureaucratic attitude and democratic attitude. A person who is having bureaucratic attitude, he is very rules oriented. He will give importance to rules or procedures. A person who is having democratic attitude, he will give importance to people. He'll say that, what's the use of these rules? Let's say there is a person who is, who doesn't have home, who doesn't have anything to do, he's very poor, he's begging on the streets. Now you can help this person by giving something through the schemes, government schemes. If you can fund this person, give some food or whatever, some food or some kind of livelihood, you can provide him the home under any particular scheme. But this person does not have any documents. There are no documents available with this person. What to do? Now this bureaucratic attitude will say rules are important, documents are important. Without documents, no, we can't help you. But a person with democratic attitude will say people are important. Why do we have this constitution and law? We have these laws to help people. We are a welfare state, right? So this democratic attitude will not give much importance to rules but people. Bureaucratic attitude becomes very rigid and mechanical because it is very rule oriented. It becomes very rigid. It will not change its position easily. Means in this case of, because there is no document, they are not ready to give the benefit of the schemes. They have become rigid. Whereas a person with democratic attitude will be much flexible and very empathetic. Okay. He will be flexible. He will not be so rigid. He understands that, yes, all these rules are to help these people. Even if there are no documents, let's do something. Let's find some solution out of it. Here, bureaucratic attitude, we see process as more important, and in democratic attitude, purpose is more important. He is giving importance to rules, the process, and he is giving importance why we brought these rules. There was some purpose to help these people. So that's the difference. Now basic things you can now understand. Bureaucratic attitude, top-down approach will be there. Hierarchical structure will be there. A person who is having bureaucratic attitude, he will give importance to hierarchy. He likes hierarchy. A person who is having democratic attitude, he will not give importance to hierarchy. He will consider everyone as equal. He wants everyone to participate in the decision making. He doesn't like this stuff that someone has given me orders, so I'll have to obey. He will not like that. He wants people to participate. There should be consultation and the decision should be taken. He doesn't like hierarchical decision making. So that's democratic attitude. Then bureaucrats, because they're focusing so much on process and all, they don't like to take any extra risk. If someone doesn't have documents, no, I'll not help you. They don't want to take extra risk to help someone. Whereas this person will be solution oriented, will try to find out some solution to help people. And because you have developed this bureaucratic attitude, it may lead to red tapeism. You don't have documents, I'll just keep your file piling up with me. I'll send you from one department to other department. Nothing will happen. Okay. Whereas this person, the democratic attitude person, this person will not go for red tapeism. Rather, he'll try to find out solutions and focus on accountability. Okay. So you can understand the difference between this bureaucratic attitude and this democratic attitude. In a civil servant, obviously, because you are a bureaucrat, you will anyway develop this bureaucratic morality. But you have to bring in some element of democratic attitude in you, in these civil services. Okay. Now, we are done with this chapter and we'll start with the next one. Before that, we'll just look at one previous year question. So, please read this question which was asked in the year 2022. So, one statement by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam has been given over here. So, can you tell me, what is the question all about? What is the core thing that they are asking in this particular question? If a country is to be corruption free and become a nation of beautiful minds, I strongly feel there are three key societal members who can make a difference. They're the father, mother and teacher. Now, they've just given you a quote and now they're expecting you to write 2 pages on this particular part. What do you just tell me one thing? Whatever we have studied till now, what do you think? From where we have asked this question? Which topic, to be more specific? Yes? Yes, any answer? No? So we studied about values, we studied about value education, we studied about inculcation of values. If you remember, I talked about one thing, that is foundational values. This is something you learn in your early stage. And once you learn in this early stage, it stays with you throughout your life. And it's very difficult to change your foundational value system, value structure. Right? So there are some really good values or even bad values. We can't be very sure that these are positive or negative. But these are those foundational values which you learn. And when we studied this part, we discussed that your family is the first thing or the first area where you start getting foundational values. So family involves your mother, your father. They are going to inculcate some values in you which are going to stay with you. And then your teachers. So we said that in schooling you will have some primary teacher or some teachers who, especially the primary one, who will inculcate some values in you, and that will also be foundational. Later on in studies you will get some secondary values from other teachers in the university and all. But see, this is the exact segment which is being asked over here. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam is saying, if you want to make India corruption free or any country corruption free, why people are corrupt? Because they have got some negative values in them. If they have positive values, they won't be doing corruption. They won't be getting into corrupt activities. So if you want to make entire nation corruption free, the best way is build their foundational values. In these foundational values, bring those good values. If you bring those good values, then everything will be sorted out. When this person will become an adult or do whatever in his life, he will adhere to those good values. Okay. Now, here he is talking about the same. I strongly feel there are three key societal members who can make a difference: father, mother and teacher. Got it? Now in this answer, what you can do is, obviously the question is focusing on the foundational values or the socialization process, right? You can additionally even talk about attitudes and behavior, that we are learning attitudes and the behavior from this part. So 1 or 2 lines you can mention there. To introduce, this is something I've tried to write just for the sake of, so that you get an idea about how you can present this answer, how you can introduce it. A nation's ethical foundation is not built in courts or legislatures, but in the homes and classrooms. So I've just tried to build the context using the same line which is given in the question. Dr. Kalam's words highlight that the seeds of honesty, integrity and responsibility are sown early by mother, father, teacher, and they are the first architects of a citizen's character. Highlight this particular line. It looks very good and very presentable. Now come to the core part, the body part. Here start with the mother and specifically mention which values or what kind of attitude, what kind of behavior you are learning from your mother. For example, love, empathy, compassion, humanity. Such values you can directly mention here. Now try to give 1 or 2 examples over here. For example, Jizabai, the mother of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. So Shivaji Maharaj claims that he learnt many values from his mother, Jizabai. So it's a very good example. Shivaji Maharaj is very famous for bringing leadership, ethical leadership. So you can put this here, very good. Even you can give example of Mahatma Gandhi also over here, right? So here you have mentioned 1. Then talk about father. What all values you learnt from your father? Just mention all those values. Let's say responsibility, discipline, fearlessness, truthfulness, moral courage, leadership, etc. Give again 1 example. So I had given 1 example of Dr. Baba Amte, that he learnt many values from his father. Mention that over here. Then talk about teacher. Again mention few values like civic values, critical thinking. This teacher will make you think critically. Constitutional morality, ethics, tolerance, whatever. Now whatever comes to your mind. It's not like you're bound by the content or there is only a fixed content that you are going to write. Whatever values you can think about, just mention it over here. This is what we have learned. Give example. You can put your personal example also. There's no problem in ethics if you're putting personal examples. Or else you can come up with examples from your subjects, history, geography, polity, whatever. So from history we get this example of Chanakya and Chandragupta Maurya. So Chandragupta Maurya learnt many values from Chanakya, right? And then you can write down 1 line or 1 or 2 lines wherein you show that there is collective impact of all these things, all these values on this person, building the foundational values of this person, which are going to stay with this person, which get internalized in this person. And because it gets internalized, now it will come out as a behavioral trait. Okay, and that's how you can show the relationship with corruption. Okay, so show this relation. At the end, you can write conclusion, you can utilize all those lines. So for example, I said Plato had said that state is individual writ large. So if all the people become virtuous people, then obviously the country is virtuous. But you have to start with one single person, and that process will start from family and from teachers. So this is how you can write. In the words of Plato, state is individual writ large. When individuals are ethically upright, the nation as a whole reflects their virtue. Right? So that's how you connect it with vision of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. That when homes and schools nurture good values, nation naturally evolves into a society of beautiful minds, realizing Dr. Kalam's vision of corruption-free India. So we have tried to bring the flow in the answer. We have clearly addressed the complete demand of the particular quote or particular question, right? So very good flow, good examples, all the values, foundational value we have connected with the corruption, and we have completely answered. That's a very good way of writing answer. Okay, you can even make few diagrams if you want to. That's now up to your creativity. Okay, now moving ahead. Now we can talk about something called as aptitude. Aptitude. Now that's a new topic altogether. We studied attitude, not aptitude. Now we are talking about aptitude. So can anyone tell me what's the difference between attitude and aptitude? Yes? Difference between aptitude and attitude. Can anyone tell me? Although we'll first discuss aptitude and then I'll tell you the difference. Attitude you have already understood. When I say aptitude, now here specifically I'm talking about your capabilities or your talent. Your capabilities or your talent. Now see, if you look at few people, they're doing really good in life. Let's say you look at Virat Kohli. You may say, sir, he has got training after which he became a good cricketer. But we'll give you the same training. We'll give the same training to you and we give the same training to Virat Kohli. But still Virat Kohli is doing really good in cricket. You're not doing that good. Or let's say Lata Mangeshkar. She got a good training for this singing, classical singing. We'll give the same training to you. Will you perform the way she performed? No. So there is something that is innately available in us. There are some talents, there are some capabilities which are present in us, and we all are not the same. Some people have got this quality to become a good singer. Some people have got this quality of becoming a good cricketer. Some people have got quality of becoming something else. Right? It's not just about arts or sports. It's about everything. Some people can do mathematics you must have seen in childhood. Some students, they do mathematics very easily. They learn very easily. They grasp very easily. So when we use this term aptitude, here we say that it is a capability to do well in a particular field. It's a capability. So when you look at Virat Kohli, let's say before he entered into cricket, when he was a child, we could see that he has got that potential to become a very good cricketer. There is some potential, there is some capability, some talent in him. But obviously he needs some training. If he is given proper training, if he practices, after this he will do really well in this particular field, that is cricket over here. Whenever we use the term aptitude, we are talking about this kind of capability. We will check your aptitude first, and then we will decide whether you can do well in this field or not. So for example, we are taking a test called CSAT, or there is a test called CAT, which for the business schools they take this CAT test. What is this CAT test, or what is this CSAT exam? So it's a civil service aptitude test. Rather, our entire exams like prelims, mains, interview, everything is actually CSAT, civil service aptitude test, where we are checking whether you are capable of becoming a good bureaucrat or not. Do you have those qualities or not? They know that you just by clearing exam you cannot go and administer a district. You need training. But with this test, they will come to know that yes, at least you have that potential. If you clear the test, that means you have the potential, you have that capability. Once we give you training, you will do really good. You will do really well in this particular field. So here we are talking about this talent or this capability, right? Now people compare it with IQ. I'll discuss that IQ part when we discussed emotional intelligence. So just do not think about this part right now. Now look at these examples to understand this aptitude part. Mostly aptitude is something that we get with birth. It is with you by birth. It's not something you have learned. Mostly I'm saying. But some part of it can also be learned. For example, some students who are solving the mathematics equations or they're doing maths, by birth they are having this talent. At a very young age, many people, what they do is they perform some really good tasks. For example, we have this example of Budia Singh. At the age of 5, ran 65-kilometer marathon non-stop. Now this is near to impossible for anyone, but this person is able to do this thing at the age of 5. So it clearly shows that this is a very natural talent, right? In case of Virat Kohli, in case of Lata Mangeshkar, in case of Sachin Tendulkar, it seems they had some natural talent. Okay, and some part of it can be learnt through practice, through training, through experience. So we say aptitude is mostly innate and some part of it can be acquired. So for example, a person who becomes good at coding, so with practice he does coding, and after some time he becomes really good at it. Okay, now if you train him to do some advanced kind of coding, he can do it because he got that talent with practice. Okay, so that's your aptitude. While writing answers, I suggest you to make such, write such equations to, present things in a better manner. For example, aptitude equals to natural talent plus learned ability. Okay. Now, here I have given one list. Budia Singh, Hima Das, Lata Mangeshkar, Mary Kom, Vishwanathan Anand. So these are good examples. I suggest you to make note of these examples, at least 1 or 2 or 3, which you can quote anyway at any point of time. So as I suggested in the first lecture, you should make notes of hardly 5-6 pages, A4 sheets. Very short notes, very crisp notes, so that you can revise at the end. And in such notes, you should mention such examples which you can directly hit in the answers. Okay. Now coming to this dimension. Coming to this dimension where we want to discuss attitude and aptitude part. So anyway, now you know the difference. I'll just briefly tell you. There's one similarity. See, aptitude is your innate ability, your talent part, your capability part. Attitude is something you have developed later on. It could be positive, it could be negative. If you want to become successful in anything, in bureaucracy, in anything. Let's say you want to play some musical instrument, whatever you're doing, if you want to become successful, you need both of them. You need aptitude. If you don't have aptitude, you will not do good. Let's say if I start learning singing, I know I'll sing in a very bad manner. Whatever I do, I'll not do good. Or let's say dance, I'm not good at dance. I don't have that natural capability or talent. I'll perform very badly. Even if I'll be given training, I'll perform very badly. So if I don't have aptitude, I cannot be that successful, right? Even if I'll be given the same training which Virat Kohli got, I won't be a good cricketer. So aptitude is required to become this successful person, right? Now that could be innate aptitude or you learn with time, right? But mostly it will be innate. Second is your attitude. Your attitude should be positive towards whatever you are doing. There are many software engineers. They are software engineers. They are earning really good. They know how to do this coding, programming, everything. So they know this. They have this aptitude. They have the aptitude. That's why they are into this job. But they don't like their job. They don't want to do coding. They hate it. So their attitude towards the work is negative attitude, not positive. And that becomes an obstacle in your success. If you have aptitude but not attitude, you won't be successful. If you have attitude but not aptitude, you won't be successful. You need both to be that successful. So both things will be there. So if we take example, if you have aptitude but not attitude, that was this software engineer, he won't be much successful in life. If you take example wherein you don't have aptitude but you have attitude. So let's say I don't have aptitude of singing. Even if I have really good attitude, I have very positive attitude towards singing, it's useless. I don't have the aptitude. I don't have the talent. It's useless. So I'll do decent, but I'll not do really good as such. So very limited success, I can say. Then let's say I have both. I have aptitude of teaching. I'm a teacher. I have aptitude. How to teach, how to present things, how to speak. Everything, I have the natural talent and I have learned with few things with experience. So I've got this aptitude. And I have attitude also. I love teaching. I enjoy it. Now I'll do very good in my career. Okay, I'll be very happy also. I'll be very successful also. I'll be doing really good also. So you take the example of Virat Kohli. Again, I'm bringing it to Virat Kohli because a very famous example for us. He loves cricket and he has aptitude of cricket. What he will do? He'll become one of the best players, right? You reach to the zenith of success when you have aptitude as well as attitude. And if you're a person who has neither aptitude nor attitude, neither aptitude nor attitude, done. You won't do anything in life. No success at all. Success becomes impossible. So that's how we see the relationship between attitude and aptitude. Both are required. Okay, and there is a difference. It is something, attitude is something you are learning. Aptitude is something which is innate. Mostly it is innate, inborn. This attitude is having lot of impact on your behavior. How you behave, it depends hell lot on your attitude. But that's not the case with aptitude. Whatever is your aptitude, doesn't matter. Means your behavior is not going to change because of aptitude much. There's very less impact, we can say. That's the relationship. Clear? So we understood what is aptitude. We understood the relationship between aptitude and attitude. Okay. So I gave the example of CSAT for you, wherein we are checking whether you have aptitude of becoming a civil servant or not. Now, apart from CSAT, we have some other options which we can observe over here. How someone or some organization checks whether you have some aptitude or not. You just think about it. If you already know, do you have aptitude about something? If you already know, don't you think your decision making will be very good? You'll take the right decision for your career. If you already know that you have really good aptitude of becoming an actor, you will get into acting. You will take those risks in life. You will do theater, you will do whatever needed. So the point is, you should know whether you have aptitude or not, right? Or let's say if a company is recruiting people for different job profiles. So the company HR wants to know whoever they are going to interview, this person has got the aptitude for this job or not. If we are taking you for a coder position, do you have that aptitude? If we are taking you for the position in finance or something, do you have that aptitude? If there is a position in security, and security you need to have, you should be a bit aggressive also sometimes. So do you have that aggressiveness in you? Sometimes you have to be very, whatever. If you are in the HR or if you are in the finance, everywhere different kind of skill set is required. So do you have aptitude or not? It's better if you know already. So in developed countries, they have one test called DAT. That means differential aptitude test. So in many developed countries, they go for this test. So this test checks different kinds of aptitude that you have. And they will take a test, they'll check what kind of aptitudes you have, different aptitudes they'll check, they'll make a list with their parameters, and they will send this list to the corporates, the companies, and companies will see if they require a particular person for having this particular aptitude, they'll contact that person. That's how they work there. There are some, now this is see, it's a very general test. It's a general test involving your aptitude being checked in different dimensions. It's not like only one kind of aptitude is being checked. It's general. There are specific tests like this CAT or CSAT. Here we are not checking your general aptitude, rather we are checking whether you have aptitude of becoming civil servant or not. It's very specific they are. Or this CAT exam, very specific, whether you can become, one MBA grad or not. So such tests are there. When you look at CSAT, you'll get to know that what all they are checking: language comprehension, maths, data interpretation skill, problem solving skill, interpersonal skill, communication skill, everything is being checked over here. All these are the things which you need when you become civil servant. When you become a civil servant, you need such skills. You should be very good with all these skills. Right now, even if you don't have those skills, at least we should know that you have the potential. Right? That's something we will know through aptitude test. Clear? That's all about aptitude. Okay? That's all about aptitude. If you have any questions, you can ask. Just we'll take 2 minutes break. You can ask questions and then we'll continue with the next topic, that is foundational values of civil services. Now we'll start with the next topic. This topic is foundational values of civil services. Now I had discussed this dimension wherein I had already talked about foundational part. So if you remember, I had given this example wherein if there is a building, if we are constructing a 10-story building, we will first focus on building the basement, building the base. If the base is strong, even if there are any harsh conditions, this building is going to survive. Even if there is pressure, even if there is earthquake, even if there is heavy rainfall or anything, still this building will survive. Mostly it will survive because of very strong base. Similarly, if you have got a really strong base or very strong foundation, base is foundation, then in future, whatever is getting built on you, that will remain as it is. Any external pressure is not going to destroy it very easily. So, when we talk about values, whatever values we are building, if you are becoming a civil servant, if you have the value of honesty, if you have the value of integrity, even if there is immense pressure on you to get into corrupt activities, to take some bribe, pressure even from chief minister or prime minister, you will still not listen to anybody. Why? Because of this strong foundation. Just because we people did not build very strong foundational values, that's the reason we get into this corrupt activity as such. That's one problem. So when we talk about foundational values, first of all, when we talk about values, values could be foundational as well as secondary. In the value inculcation part, we discussed this part, that some foundational values we learn from parents, some from the teachers also. But in later part of life, mostly what we learn is are those secondary values. Now just look at yourself. There are some foundational values for you and there are some secondary values for you. Both are present in you. But foundational values will get priority, primacy. For example, if we take the example of a soldier. Now there could be a soldier. In this soldier, there are some values like kindness, values like empathy. He's a very kind person, he's got empathy for people. Also, he has values like nationalism, courage, discipline, fortitude. Instead of nationalism, I would put patriotism. Okay. So, patriotism is a value, courage is a value. Now, compare this thing. For a soldier, what is more important, courage or kindness? What do you think? So, if you look at the profile of soldier, his foundational value should be courage. That is more important for him. Whether he's kind or not, that's a very different stuff. It doesn't really matter. His job requires courage, right? His job requires patriotism. If he is not patriotic, then that's a problem. Even if he is empathetic, but if he is not patriotic, that's a problem. So for a soldier, these are foundational values and these could be secondary values. If we take another example of a judge, I had given the similar example about an IAS officer or even a teacher. What is more important, punctuality or being objective or idea of justice? You know, value of justice should be more important for a judge rather than punctuality. Even if he comes late, what matters is whether he's doing the justice or not, right? So he can have all these values, but these form his basic stuff, his foundation, right? So we are interested in these foundational values. That too, the foundational values of a civil servant. So even if you become civil servant and you got thousands of values, we are interested in knowing whether you have at least the basic foundational values which we expect in any civil servant. Okay, we'll discuss each value in detail. First and most important value is value of integrity. You ask anyone, even if in the interview they ask about the values, the first value which you will give importance to will be integrity. Okay, mostly I suggest to give it the highest importance. Now see, when we say integrity, what do we mean by this? You must have heard this thing that in the bureaucracy, when you become an IAS officer, there's a report whenever you want a promotion or for officers to evaluate their performance. There's a report, annual confidential report, ACR. In that report, all your performance is mentioned. There will be many parameters. One of the parameter will be your integrity. If your senior writes down that your integrity is in doubt, forget about any promotion. There won't be any promotion now. Okay, your life will be, it becomes very horrible condition now for you. There might be any investigation started against you or anything. So integrity is something that cannot be compromised in civil service at any cost. Now, what do we mean by integrity? Understand this stuff. You have your thoughts, you speak something and you act. A person of integrity will have complete consistency and harmony in his thoughts, speech and action. What do I mean by this? Whatever I think, I'll speak the same. Whatever I speak, I'll do the same. It will never happen that I think something else and speak something else. It will not happen. Or I think negative about something and I'll do positive. Never. If I think negative, I'll do negative. If I think positive, I'll do positive. Or I'll speak positive. There will always be consistency and there will always be harmony in the thoughts, speech and action of the person whom we are saying he is a person of integrity. Now, why this happens? Why there is such consistency and such harmony is because this person adheres to some values. Okay, there are some core values. These are good values. These are morally upright values. He adheres to these values. See, these values are there in his thoughts. Okay, and when it comes to speaking or when it comes to doing some kind of an action, he will adhere to those values. He will adhere because he knows that these values are important. He knows, the society also taught him, he also understands that these values are important, that these values are morally upright. So whatever is the condition, even if you put lot of pressure on this person is going to adhere to these values. He'll be very upright, he'll be very rock solid on these values, that I will do this no matter what. Most importantly, even if no one is watching this person, even in that case, this person is going to adhere to these values. So let's say there is a person who is very clear that stealing something is wrong. He's very clear about it. Now, even if nobody is watching, he'll not steal. Even if he's got a chance that he found, let's say he found a wallet on the road, he will not steal this money from the wallet. Even though nobody is checking, even if nobody is going to ask, he won't. Or let's say there's a cricketer who is playing cricket and only he knows that on this ball he was actually out because the ball actually touched the bat. Neither umpire understood, neither the opposite party or the opposite team has questioned. But still, you yourself will tell that I'm out. Now, this is a person of integrity. Because he's very clear. I'll play by the rules. This is wrong means wrong. He's very clear about it. So, when we talk about a person of integrity, see, the term integrity comes from the term integer. So, integer, in mathematics, we use this term integer. So, integers are like 0, 1, 2, 3, minus 1, minus 2. These are integers, right? There will be numbers between 1 and 2 also, like 1.15, 1.5, 1.7. There will be numbers, but these are integers. Integers are those numbers which are not broken, which are not decimals. They are clear-cut, complete numbers. Okay. So, when we use this term integrity, here we are showing complete absoluteness, completeness. There won't be any deviation. There won't be any deviation. When we say these are the good values, you will follow them no matter what. There won't be any deviation in your behavior, in your thoughts at all. There won't be any deviation. That's why we are calling you having the complete integration in yourself. Your thoughts match with your action. Your actions match with your thoughts. Completely it matches. It never happens that there is any deviation at all. Okay, and such a person is going to live a very happy life. He's not confused. He's very clear. First of all, he's very clear about the values he adheres to. So there are many values. He is very clear which values are important for him. He is also very clear about the hierarchy of values. Which value is important, which value is not important. So being punctual is important or teaching well is important. I am very clear, teaching well is important. So this hierarchy is very clear. There is clarity on the values. There is clarity on hierarchy of the values. Okay. And this person is going to adhere to that core value no matter what the situation means. For example, let's say you're an officer and your senior has given an order. Let's say there are protests going on and your senior told, shoot some people or go for using the fire. Whatever is the advice. And you here in this particular situation, you're a person of integrity. You're very clear that I will never raise my power or my position against anyone who is very innocent. These are innocent protesters. They are protesting peacefully. Using fire against them, that is against my value. So even if this senior has given me advice, I'll not listen. If I'm a man of integrity, I'm very clear about my values. No matter what, I'll not hurt any innocent person. I'm very clear about it. See, for me, obedience is also an important value. But when it comes to obedience versus the life of an innocent, I'm giving importance to this innocent person and I'm clear about it. You won't see any situation in which I'll hurt any innocent person. In my personal life or in my professional life or anywhere. So one thing is clear. No compromise on the value behavioral link. There will be this link and which will be there completely intact. No compromise, no cracks, no double standards. Now you'll see that there are some people who are hypocrites. Okay, hypocrisy is very common. Hypocrisy is exactly opposite to integrity. What these hypocrites do? They say something else and they do something else. In their mind, they have something else. They have something negative. And on the face, they'll say something very positive to you. These are hypocrites. A person of integrity, he'll be like clear cut. It's like, he's completely transparent. Whatever he thinks, if he thinks negative about you, he'll speak it on your face. He'll directly tell you that this is something wrong about you. I'm very clear about it. Now, this is integrity. Okay? So, if you have to write down, it's a value of being upright, transparent, honest, authentic, rock solid, even when no one is watching. Okay? And in this person, what you will see is the harmony between thoughts, speech, and action. So you can see these things will definitely be there. Uprightness, transparency, authenticity, consistency, courage, self-witness. So if someone is pressurizing this person to go against his values, at that time this person is going to show courage. He will have the courage to say, no, I'll not listen to you. I'm very clear about it. Okay? And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what anyone thinks. Eventually what matters to you is what your value is. Okay? Now while writing answers, I suggest you can use such good lines. Integrity is being true to your values in all situation, even in adversity. Very good line to write the introduction. Or integrity means doing the right thing even when no one is watching. A very basic line. And then you can mention this part. A person of integrity holds on to their values even when, first, when no one is watching. Second, when there are temptations, pressures or dangers that are present. So you must have read in the newspaper many a times. Many scientists, they are trapped, that honeybee trapping you must have heard about. So because of temptation, they could be trapped very easily. But if you are a person of integrity, you'll be very clear. I'll be loyal with my partner no matter what. This is integrity. And when there is personal loss or cost involved, so even if someone has put a gun and told you to do something wrong, something against your values, you will be like, kill me. Kill me, I am not going to listen to you. So even if there is personal loss or any cost to you, you will not compromise on your values no matter what. This is the rock solid personality that you develop if you are a man of integrity. So very rarely we see people having this value of integrity in them. Very rare. But I'll say these are the people who are the happiest because they are very clear about life, they are very clear about themselves, and their thought, speech and action, they match. That's why there is no stress in their mind. Whatever they are doing, they know what they are doing, they're very clear. Okay, now such an integrity will be of different types. Okay, we should know what kind of types, different types we can see when it comes to integrity. One is at your personal level, personal integrity. So we'll see if your values, your behavior, all that is matching, that will be your personal one. So for example, you know that cheating is wrong, so even if the teacher is not watching, you will not cheat. Or let's say there is no traffic, let's say nobody is watching, there's no traffic policeman standing over there, you'll still not go against the traffic rules just because there's no one watching. You'll not break the rules. So that's an example of personal integrity. If you got a wallet of someone, you'll return it as it is, intact. You'll not even take one single rupee out of it. That's personal integrity. Okay, at the professional level, when we say professional integrity, so there are some values which are present in any profession. Any profession or any organization will expect you to have some values. So if you're going against those values, then that is not professional integrity. And if you follow them, it is part of your thought, speech and action, then you are having that professional integrity. So for example, nowadays what many civil servants are doing, civil servants are expected to work behind the wheel. Rather, we can say they are not supposed to become famous on social media. They are always supposed to work in a way which we call as anonymous working. So anonymity is an important value for actually civil servants. If someone has to show the face, it's the politician, because politicians are the representatives of people. They are accountable to people directly. So they should show their face, they should talk to people, and their face should be visible for whatever governance or whatever administration is going on. Civil servants' face is actually not needed. Whatever task they are doing, they are getting paid for it, right? So this is their job. Now what many civil servants nowadays they are doing, whatever they are doing, they are making a video and they are posting on Instagram, social medias to become famous. See, becoming famous, this was not expected from a civil servant. You should not do your job to become famous. You're supposed to be anonymous. Now this is where I feel they're going against the professional integrity. Or another example could be, let's say there's a shopkeeper, let's say Domino's or anything like KFC. So they have their shop, they're getting orders. Now they can serve only 10 people in next 1 hour. That's the resource they have. So when they know that they cannot serve more than 10 people, if they keep on taking orders, 11, 12, 13, 14, 50, 60, so if they are taking orders more than what they can actually deliver, this is breach of professional integrity, right? When you know that you can't deliver, why are you taking the order? You should directly say, a person of integrity, what he will do, sir, next 1 hour you will not get the delivery because I already have these many orders. If you want, you can come after 1 hour. Very clear. So this is professional integrity. Okay. Then we have intellectual integrity. And this is very interesting. Here, what is involved is your intellectual part. We are interested in knowing intellectually how you look at things. Can anyone tell me what do I mean by this? Just by any, any of your opinion. What do you think? What is intellectual integrity? Yes, please try. So see, when we talk about intellectual integrity, think about a person who has to do an intellectual job. Let's say we have a researcher. So a researcher who is doing some kind of research, he has to make a PhD, and the PhD thesis he has to make. So here, when he is doing research, if you have got intellectual integrity, you're not going to copy the content of others. You're not going to copy any idea of others, any research of others. You'll not do chat GPT. If you are a researcher, you will do the research on your own. You'll not do this stuff. This is intellectual integrity. No plagiarism as such. Or if you take this example of not answering if you don't know the answer. So many times this happens in the classroom. I ask some question, and many students, even if they do not know the answer, they'll still keep on giving some answer. Now, if you ask Socrates or a person of integrity, they will say, if you don't know the answer, just shut your mouth. Don't say anything if you don't know. Now, this is something even checked in your interviews. They'll ask anything. Sometimes they ask just anything. They also know that you don't know the answer. But if you start bluffing, now this is completely against the intellectual integrity. That's not intellectual integrity. So when we read Socrates, he even says one thing. As for me, all I know is that I know nothing. This line itself shows the intellectual integrity he has. Even after studying so much, understanding so much, he says that I know that I know nothing and I have to accept it. Right? So if you don't know the answer, don't give the answer. Simple. Unless I ask you to give your opinion. Right? Now that was intellectual integrity. Another type could be artistic integrity. Now artists are the creators. They come up with their creativity, their ideas, or something they are creating. A music or a poet, a poetry, or anything like that. Now when you look at such an artist, he has to be very clear about his creation or ideas, and he should not change his creation because of any pressure. So let's say if I take the example of Kabir Das, very famous. He used to speak what he wanted to speak. He used to write what he wanted to write. Even if there is pressure from any king, he didn't stop what he wanted to write. Or many poets, they used to flatter kings. They used to, write prashastis, write something which glorifies the king. He never did that. He never did that because he never felt like that he's a very good king as such. If he would have felt, I'm damn sure, looking at his personality, he would have written something good about the king. But because when he is looking at the world, whatever he was observing, and through his creativity, through his poetry or his dohe, he wrote what was coming from within. Now this is artistic integrity, that you will not stop your ideas or not bury your ideas or not change your ideas under any pressure, any temptation as such. Okay, there is one more example, that is of Raja Ravi Verma, very famous painter, very famous artist. Now he used to make some paintings in which he was showing some nude images of gods. Now that was part of his art, and there was immense pressure on him. There was a case in the courts, so much pressure from the society on him not to make such pictures, not to make such paintings. But he didn't listen to anyone, because that's a creativity, that's his creativity, that's something that is coming from within. He's not stopping that. If he stops, he's going against the artistic values, right? The freedom of expression. That's the reason he didn't stop. And this shows that this person is having what we call as artistic integrity. Whether you like my art or you don't like my art, someone pays for my art, someone doesn't pay for my art, I will perform, I will do, I will create something. That is artistic integrity. Okay. The last we have is the brand integrity. The brand. When we look at Tata is a brand, right? Now this brand has got some image, and when you care about that image, credibility and trust, when we say it's a brand, why we are calling it brand? See, there are so many companies, but few of them will be termed as having a brand. This brand shows that there is trust. People trust your company. That's why you are a brand. There is some credibility involved. They know that there is an image built in the minds of people about you, that you're a very trustworthy company. Whatever product or service you are selling, it's trustworthy. When it comes to Tatas, that's something, Tatas are well known for. People trust Tatas for this, that if they are making something, then that's not bad. They'll not do something wrong. That's the trust they have built. So, brand integrity, if you have, you will not play with that credibility. You will not do something wrong. Okay. Just because you are earning good, you have so much loyal customers now you start doing some manipulations in your product, you give bad service. No, you will not do that. Brand integrity you have to maintain. And even Tata's, what they did, at the time of this 26/11 attack, they compensated all these 26/11 victims. So that shows brand integrity. Or even if I take example of Amazon, a private company, they have a very customer-centric approach. Even if you call them and say that's the product that you have sent us, this is a wrong product, or even if it's a very costly product, they will give you refund for the product. If by their mistake, something wrong has happened with the product, they'll refund you the full amount. Now, this is a customer-first, customer-centric approach which Amazon has been maintaining. Why they are doing this? Just because to maintain that brand image or brand, right? The brand is built on the trust. So this is brand integrity. So people trust such company. Okay. That's all about integrity. Now, all these types of integrity, we understand. Now we need to know the relationship or the difference between integrity and honesty. Can anyone tell me any difference? If you can tell me, or if you can understand the difference between integrity and honesty in just simple terms. Anyone? No? Okay. Now listen to this one easy and simple example. Let's say you are in the market. Okay, you're standing in the market, you're doing something, or you're buying something. There are so many people around you in the market. Suddenly, a person comes, takes his gun out and shoots a person. You saw this incident. Many people around, they also saw this incident. Okay. Now, after some time, policemen came. And police started asking few people around, have you seen who killed this person? Have you seen this incident? Now you are little far away. Now this incident, let's say police is asking people over here and you are standing right now over here. Police did not come to you. Police did not come to you. They didn't ask you. They did not come to you and they did not ask you. That's the reason you did not go and tell police who actually killed. You very well know who killed, But because policeman did not come to you, did not tell. Okay. Now this I am talking about a person who is an honest person. Did he break any rule? He didn't break any rule. If policeman would have come to him and asked him, do you know who killed? He would have clearly told, yes, I know, this is the person who has killed. So I'm talking about an honest person. If you go and ask, he'll tell. If you don't ask, he will not tell. Why? Because he knows that I have to just follow the rule. I have to just follow the rule and I don't need to break any rule. He's very clear that I'm not going to break any rule. An honest person is not going to go against the rules. So here, even when the policeman did not come to him, he was not breaking any rule as such. So for him, he was an honest person. For us also, he was an honest person because he didn't lie. Right? But if you are a person of integrity, I'm not talking about honest person, I'm talking about integrity person. Even if the policeman would not have come to you, you would have gone to the policeman, you would have gone to the police station and told them that, sir, this person killed you. Here comes the real difference between an honest person and a person of integrity. This person of integrity knows the rules and the honest person also knows the rules. Right? And both are not breaking the rules, but see the core difference. He knows why these rules are made. What are the problems with the rules also? Sometimes we need to go against the rules also, or sometimes there are no rules, we have to take extra action. Because why this is happening? Because this person is very clear in his thoughts. There he is very clear. That's the reason a person of integrity will behave in a bit different manner. If we take another example, let's say you are selling a product. Okay, you're in a company, you're selling a product, or you have a shop, you're selling something. Now you are not sure whether this product is harmful for people or is it good for people. You're not very sure, but till now you haven't got any customer who has said that this product harms people. So if a new customer comes to you, an honest person, what he will do? He will sell this product because he knows that I'm not breaking any rule. I didn't get anyone saying that this product can have some harmful effects as such. But a person of integrity, what he will do? If someone asks, he will clearly tell, sir, till now we haven't got any update from any customer, but I don't know whether this product is harmful or not. He'll be very clear because he don't know. In reality, he doesn't know. So he will be very clearly telling this part to the customer that if you want, you can get some test done. After that, you will get the clarity whether it's harmful or not. But I'll not take the guarantee of it. Okay. Or this example of cricket. I gave you that example that if you're playing cricket and there nobody knew that you are out, only you know that you are out. What an honest person will do, if nobody questioned, he'll keep on playing. But a person of integrity, even if nobody is questioning, he'll be like, no, I'm out, I know that thing. At least I know, that's fine. So such a difference you will find between an honest person and person of integrity. Now, if I have to go one step ahead, I can say one thing. If this is the ladder, here you become a person of integrity. Then honesty is the first step. You have to first become honest. Later on, you can become a person of integrity. But if you are not even honest, how can you become a person of integrity? That's not even possible. To build the value of integrity, honesty is the first step. But only honesty will not lead to make you a really good person where you have got complete clarity about yourself, about your values and all. That you will get in this stage only. Okay. So if I have to note down the difference, honesty is not going against the rule. Integrity is about being upright, standing with your values. If required, you will even go against rules. If required, if you found out that the rules are wrong, you will go against rules also. but mostly you know that there are rules, why these rules are there, you know complete structure, your values are also there, and you will align with your values, so you will stick to that part. If I have to compare these two things, then honesty is a lower value, integrity is a higher value. Okay, honesty without integrity is possible. A person can be honest but not a person of integrity, that's possible. But it's not possible that a person is having integrity and no honesty. It's not possible. Honesty is must. Honesty is needed. Without that, you cannot become a person of integrity. Okay, this one example also you can quote, that let's say you belong to SC or ST category and you belong to the creamy layer. So there are some people, they're very rare people. What they will do is, while filling up the form or giving any exam and all, they will not claim the reservation under SC/ST category. They themselves will fill the form from the open saying that I don't want reservation because I belong to creamy layer. So these are people whom we can call people of integrity. Honest person, what they would have done? Anyway, I'm allowed reservation, I'll go for it. Right? But here, person of integrity again will go back to values. He'll not stick to rules, he'll go back to values. Okay, that's much deeper. Okay, integrity as a value is much deeper and is having complete clarity on the entire picture, and not just following the rules just because there are rules you're following. No, it's a complete picture that you will be adhering to. Clear? Now this is integrity. It's a good thing. It's a very good thing. See, if you're an honest person, people like that. But if you're a person of integrity, then also people like. But sometimes there will be conflicts also. See, if you are a person of integrity, there will be some benefits that you're certainly going to get. For example, you will develop respect and credibility in your society. For sure you will develop. When people know that this person, first of all, he's very honest. Okay. Second, he's a person of integrity, man. He will not compromise on values at any cost. When they have seen this thing in you, with your consistent behavior, continuously they've observed and they saw that you never compromise on the quality or the values. So when they've observed this consistent behavior, they trust you. They respect you. What a good person. Right? So when you look at Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, he was not compromising with the values at any cost. Right? He is very clear about things. So people respect. You will build credibility in your friends, in your family, or with other people. And people will start taking you seriously. Then, in case you make any mistake, people will forgive you also. So, such a person, because they know what a great personality, man, he's a person of values and all. So, even if you do something wrong, people will be very easily forgiving you. As compared to others, I'm saying, relatively, you will be forgiven easily. Then, for yourself, you will build self-esteem. You are a person who never compromises on values. What you think, you speak the same. What you think, you do the same. So you develop some respect for yourself. In your eyes, your value is more. That's the self-esteem that you build. And because of this harmony between thoughts, speech and action, because of this clarity, you'll be very much satisfied in life. So the person of integrity will be a very self-satisfied person. This is for sure. Okay, and we all people who are not persons of integrity, they'll be struggling with a lot of stress. So these are the benefits. Although there will be some issues, some problems. For example, there can be some tension in the family, because family sometimes expects you to, compromise on values, man. So for example, you're a civil servant, you became IAS officer, but your salary is hardly 1 lakh rupees. I assume it's 1 lakh. Now in 1 lakh, all your friends, they are earning so much. Your family members might say, bro, you have this image, you have this money, you have everything. What you can do is, you have opportunity to earn a lot of money. Do some corruption, get some money. Or there could be any situation wherein, because family members or other people with whom you are living, all of them compromise on values. You are the only person who doesn't compromise. So sometimes they don't like this behavior. They don't like this behavior. So there's a possibility of tension or fight in your family members, with your family members. Then there is fear due to some risks involved. You create enemies. So if you have seen any movies in which there is a police officer and is a person of values, person of integrity, he doesn't compromise on things. So he starts building more enemies. People don't like such a person. Now, whom am I talking about? These are the enemies. So any mafias, any thief, they want people who can take some money, manage the stuff. They would like such a police officer. But this person is not compromising at all. Or even there are some civil servants, there are some officers who get transferred so many times because of integrity. So you must have heard about this IAS officer called Mr. Khemka. So he's getting transferred almost every 3, 4, 6 months. He's getting transferred continuously. Why? Because he's not ready to compromise, not compromise on these values. So he gets transferred. So although he's an IAS officer, he's a good officer, he's not able to perform, he's not able to do the proper service to the country because he's getting transferred so many times, or he's building many enemies in the system. Okay, so such issues might come with integrity. Okay, you have to remember this part. Now, one previous year question we will discuss on integrity. Integrity being very important. UPSC keeps on asking questions related to integrity. Okay, so I'll give you 2 minutes. Please read this question and try to frame some answer on it. Don't look at the answer, please. Just try to frame your answer of what can be written in the answer. Although answer, the body part is on the second page. Think about it, what we can actually write on this. Just brainstorm. Okay, I'll give you 2 minutes. Think upon this. Yes, done. So the question over here is, integrity without knowledge is weak, but knowledge without integrity is dangerous and dreadful. What they're saying is, you see, we have discussed this part wherein I talked about this thing that if you don't have values, so I generally discussed about values and knowledge. If you're a person with values and not enough knowledge, then you are a different person. But if you have knowledge and you don't have values, then you are a very dangerous person. Now, instead of values, here they are specifically talking about integrity. Okay. What do you understand by this statement? Explain your stand with illustrations from modern day context. Right? Very good question they have framed. And with whatever we have studied till now, we can frame a good answer. First of all, because they are talking about integrity and they are talking about knowledge. So I suggest write briefly about what is integrity and what is knowledge. Now, although knowledge definition you can easily make on your own. Integrity definition we have already studied. You can write the same thing. So integrity represents harmony among thought, speech and action. You can make that diagram, right? This diagram, thought, speech, action, right? Number 1, number 2, number 3 over here. Likewise, okay, you can mention that even if no one is watching, you will do that action. It involves adherence to the principles or values and you are very upright about it. You will not compromise at any cost. So such a good definition you can write over here. Okay, after that, write about knowledge. Basic one line, single line. What is knowledge? Understanding the information, awareness that involves individuals possess about various subjects, concepts, etc. That's the knowledge part. Now show the relation. How you show the relation? First, integrity without knowledge. A person who is having integrity with him, but he doesn't have knowledge. So now just imagine such a person and write down the answer. You will get the points very easily. So here you can talk about this scams that are happening right nowadays. So many people, many scamsters, they call your parents or your family members and they'll ask for OTP or whatever. Now see, the people whom they are targeting, they're good people, they're people of integrity, but they don't have knowledge. They don't have knowledge of the cyber security or the cyber scams that are happening. So problematic stuff. There are some religious leaders also. So many religious leaders at the time of COVID-19, they were speaking against the vaccination. They were speaking against the vaccination because they lacked the knowledge that was needed. So it is possible that you're a good person, but because you don't have knowledge about a particular subject or particular thing, you might not do well in few situations. Let's say there is a disaster that has taken place in your area, an earthquake or an avalanche or anything, and there are many people who need some support, some healthcare support. Now you don't have the knowledge of that healthcare. You don't know how to give CPR, you don't know anything. Then what's the use? Even if you're a man of integrity, you're a very good person, you can't help this person. You need a doctor at this moment, or you need a nurse, right? So you can show this part, that integrity without knowledge is somewhat useless many a times. Now, knowledge without integrity. You're a person having knowledge, but you don't have integrity. Now you will do horrible things. So I had given that list, right? Few people like Hitler, Shakuni. You can mention these names. You can mention these names, that these are the people with knowledge, especially Ravan. He was known for his knowledge, but lacks the values, lacks the integrity, we can say. So mention such examples. Then mention examples of some civil servants if you can. That many knowledgeable civil servants, they get into corruption. That shows lack of integrity. Mention this Pooja Khedkar case, right? Lack of integrity. That is very clear. Satyam scam, the cyber crimes, terrorists, like Osama bin Laden. Good example to write on this particular case of knowledge without integrity. Okay, then you can make this diagram also. Knowledge then leads to professional competence. Integrity leads to ethical competence. And if both are involved, you will have holistic competence. Right? You will show your broader understanding. You will make this micro diagram in the answer. You will fetch some extra marks with this. And at the end, you can write any conclusion. One good example is to write the Mahatma Gandhi's 7 sins. So I'll discuss when I'll discuss about Mahatma Gandhi. He talked about 7 sins. One of that sin is knowledge without character is a sin, is a deadly sin. So you can use such catchy lines and just conclude your answer. So that's how you can completely, address the demand of the question, whatever they have asked. They asked about some examples, illustrations. We gave that, what do you understand by this statement? We have shown our understanding, right? That structuring is our understanding. You can structure it the other way also, that's up to you. But the core demand has to be satisfied, wherein you show people having knowledge but not integrity, they do something horrible. That must be part of the answer. Okay. So we are done with one value till now, that is integrity. Okay. Now the next value that we are going to discuss is the value of objectivity. Okay. We'll do one thing, we'll take one short break of 1 minute. Okay. We'll continue with objectivity. Just 1 minute. Okay, so let's continue. So we're talking about objectivity. Now when we say you have to be objective, so you must be knowing the difference between object and subject. See, simply, this pen is an object, whereas I am a subject. I have my opinions, I have my thoughts, which can change, which can be different. When I say object, if I give one example, wherein what is the capital of India? You'll say New Delhi. See, the answer depends on the objective fact. The answer doesn't depend on human beings. The answer doesn't depend on you or me, because New Delhi is the capital. But if I ask you the question, who should be the next Prime Minister of India? Now there is a possibility that we will get different answers. Why? Because here the answer does not depend on any objective fact. It becomes subjective because we subjects are involved. We are involved, our thoughts are involved, our opinions are involved. So when we say being objective means whatever decision we are taking, in that decision we are going to consider facts, observations, evidences, reasoning and rules. We'll not use our opinion, our personal opinion or our beliefs, or let's say I have some kind of stereotypes against someone. No, I'm not going to use that. I'll just look at what are the real facts in front of me, what are the evidences in front of me. So just imagine a judge. A judge might feel for some time that this person is the culprit in this case, but he'll not give judgment on that basis. He will look at the facts. He will look at the evidences. So a judge requires objectivity. Objectivity involves decision-making process in which the judgment that you're giving, the judgment that you're making in your mind, while making that judgment, you will just look at the facts, observations, evidences, etc. Your personal bias will not change your judgment. Your personal opinion will not change that judgment. That's very important. That is objectivity. If you can judge in your mind, you can do this judgment in your mind using only facts and evidences, using the rationality, then we can be very clear to say that you have objectivity. You're a person having this value of objectivity in you. So you will not be like, many people pass judgments because of their personal beliefs or personal opinions. They will pass whatever judgment. So you will not do that. You will be objective. You will be very clear. I'll see the facts. I'll see the records. I'll see everything, and then I'll decide what is right and what is wrong, who has done wrong. That is objectivity. So selecting candidates in the exam. So if UPSC has to select, or if you take any exam, if you're selecting someone for a particular post, you'll take the exam, you'll see the marks, and then you will decide. You'll not be like, bro, this person looks like nice, we should select him. No, you'll not be like this. Facts clearly. Objective stuffs, not subjective stuff, not personal stuff. Okay. Now, to check objectivity, there is one method suggested by Descartes. You can mention this in your answers if required, although there is very less chance that it will be needed. But the idea of Descartes, which you can understand, is the idea of doubt. He says that doubt everything. Doubt everything, then you will look at the facts, you will look at the evidences. When you doubt, you will try to remove those personal biases or personal opinions from it. So he says, reject all subjective opinions and accept only something that survives the scrutiny of your rationality. That is one method that we call as method of doubt to become objective. If you want to be objective in every situation, then try to doubt everything. If someone is coming and telling you, sir, this person has done this thing with me, don't trust completely. Doubt. Ask him questions. Check whether he is lying or he's whatever he is saying is the right thing. Check that thing. Okay? This is objectivity. It is expected from civil servants that they should be objective. While taking their decisions, while making any judgment, while making policies, they should be objective. That's an expectation from you. Then there is one more value which is called as neutrality. Being neutral. So in your bike, you have got this neutral gear. First gear, then you have neutral gear, then second gear. When your bike is in any of the gears, your bike is moving. Or even your car. If it is in the reverse gear, it will go backwards. If it is on the first or second or any of these gears, it will move forward. Now, if your vehicle is on neutral gear, it's on the neutral stage, what happens? Nothing happens. No movement, neither on this side nor on that side. No movement at all. Similarly, when you look at neutrality, this is the value in which in your thoughts you are not having any personal bias about anything. You will not bring your bias, interest or favoritism in your thoughts. You will not bring that. This is what we call as neutrality. So, if you are a judge or let's say you are a researcher, when you're carrying out any research, one thing, see, in objectivity you were looking at facts, that's a different thing. Here I am saying it is possible that you support a political party. You have the values which support a particular party. For a judge also it is possible, for a researcher also it is possible. But when they are doing their research or when they are looking at a particular case, they will not let their personal bias come into picture. When they are doing this judgment, they will not let their personal bias disturb their thought process, or when they are understanding the case, they will not let their personal bias disturb it. Okay. So, this is something we call as neutrality, being very neutral. Now, about historians, it is being said many a times that many historians are not so neutral as such. Why? Because first, already they are biased and then they write the history according to their biasness. So, that will not be called neutrality. You become neutral. You are not on this side nor on this side. Now, you look at the situation. Okay. And you study the case. Okay. You build your judgment. You think on everything by being neutral. You will not be on this side and think. Sometimes at your family, if you have ever seen, if your father and mother are fighting, now possibly either you are very close to your mother or you are very close to your father. On whoever side you are, there is a possibility if you enter into that fight, most probably in your thoughts, you will find the other person as wrong. Means if you like mother, then you will find your father as wrong because you already have that biasness towards your mother. Right? So, while sorting out this fight, first thing that you need is neutrality. Otherwise, you can't stop this fight or you can't come to the right conclusion who was wrong, who started this fight. You have to be neutral, not on this side, not on this side. You will not let you have personal bias. You have to accept this fact first. But even if you have the bias, in this fight, you will not let that biasness come into picture. You will listen to your mother, you will listen to your father, and then you will say, you are wrong. Okay. This is one thing, neutrality. Okay. Then, third thing we have is impartiality. Now see, all these are very related values. Objectivity, neutrality and impartiality. That's why I've kept it together. Now, what do we mean by impartiality? Impartial, be impartial. So, partiality, if you understand, you will understand impartiality. Who is partial? Your mothers are many times partial. Let's say two children are fighting. Okay, two children are fighting. And when they were fighting, suddenly mother of one child came there. Now, you will see one thing, that because the mother is so much emotionally attached with her child, she cannot be impartial. She will show some partiality towards her child. She will feel like, my child is very innocent. This child must have done something wrong. Right? So, wherever emotional dimension is involved, you cannot have any impartiality as such. For impartiality, you have to take this emotional dimension out completely. In emotional relations, you will not see impartiality. In emotional relations, you are always partial. You can be neutral sometimes, but you cannot be impartial completely. That's very tough. Now, see the core difference. When we are talking about neutrality, we said, don't let your personal bias come into picture. But where? Build your attitude in your thoughts. In your thoughts, don't let any biasness come into picture. Impartiality talks about your external behavior, what action you are taking, in that action, don't let your biasness come into picture. So this is a difference. Here we are interested in the attitude or your thought or your approach. Here we are interested in your action. That's the basic difference between neutrality and impartiality. More or less, they seem to be same thing. Okay. So if you see this example, this is a very good example. You can read this. I'll read it out for you. As a public servant, you don't favor any political party, even if you personally voted for one party. You voted for BJP or Congress or any party, but still you do not favor any political party when you're doing your service. Your personal beliefs stay out whenever you're taking any professional decision. So whatever decision you're taking on ground, while taking that decision, in that thought, in your attitude, you're very clear. Even if I support BJP, in this decision, I'll not let my bias come into picture. This is neutrality. But what will be impartiality? While selecting candidates for a government scheme, you are selecting some candidates for a government scheme. You are going to give equal chance to all eligible people, regardless of their race, religion, caste, gender, etc., etc. Now see, here action is involved. Here your attitude is involved. Okay. So more or less they are same. But we are saying if you are emotionally attached with someone, it's difficult to be impartial. Okay. Then non-partisanship. Now this is also very similar. Now see, non-partisanship is a value which we expect that civil servants in India should have. But if you go to countries like, China, they don't expect bureaucrats to have non-partisanship as such. They are okay with partisanship. When we say partisanship, in China, if you want to become a bureaucrat or if you want to become a member of the Chinese Communist Party or whatever, first you have to believe in the Chinese Communist Party's ideology. You have to respect that ideas. You have to value the values of political party, that is this Chinese Communist Party. Now because they have just one political party in that country, you don't expect civil servants to be having any neutrality as such, impartiality as such. They expect partisanship. Partisanship means you should favor, you should also have the values or the ideas or thoughts of the same political party, because they have one party only. Now in countries like India, we have different kind of political parties. Now whenever we are using this partisanship word, here the politics is involved. Okay, or the political part is certainly involved. When we say non-partisanship, it simply means politically independent working. See, in India, for 5 years we have BJP, for 5 years we have Congress, for 5 years we might have Communist Party also, for 5 years we might have something else. So there is no fixed political ideology to which India adheres to. Before 1990, we were more or less bit socialist. After that, we are more or less capitalist. Our economic ideology, our political ideology keeps on changes. There's not a problem. And we're okay with it. We're okay with it. We're not sticking to just one particular political ideology as such. Our constitution also allows us to, have any political ideology of our choice. So it is being said that in such countries where we have multiple parties and there will be competitive structure between these parties, there will be different ideologies ruling. For few years one ideology might rule, for few years another ideology might rule. In such a case, what happens is, these people who are ruling, the politicians, they're not permanent. For 5 years they are here, after that there might be different people coming into picture. So administration might get disturbed because of them. So we have permanent executive who ensures some continuity in the administration. And in this, from these civil servants, what we expect is working without any political alignment. Means it is expected that you don't be part of this party, you don't be part of this party, you should not support this party, you should not support this party. You work in a very independent manner. But this expectation is there in countries like India or countries like UK. This is not expected in countries like China. So non-partisanship is a value which doesn't exist in China but which exists in India. In countries like India, it is definitely expected, because here politics and policy, these two are separate entities. Politics is up to the politicians, policy is up to the bureaucrats, and that has to be separated. And to separate it, what we need is bureaucrats having no political identity or no political, what we say, alignment. In China, they want political alignment. They want all the bureaucrats to be aligned with the political party, that is this Chinese Communist Party, right? So this is one value. This also you can make in answers if needed. Neutrality means no bias of any kind. Non-partisanship means no political bias. Okay, if you are neutral, you will anyway be non-partisan, right? But specifically we talk about non-partisanship with respect to Indian bureaucracy or Indian civil servants. That's an expected foundational value that we expect that you must have. Although we see many civil servants, they don't adhere to non-partisanship. At a point of time, we have observed many align themselves with some political parties, and people practically know also that this guy supports Congress, this guy supports BJP, kind is likewise. Okay, this is all about the non-partisanship. Now the next one is tolerance, the value of tolerance. What is tolerance? We all know, we tolerate people. Now this idea of tolerance can be negative as well as positive, and the positive one is very broader definition of tolerance. When we say tolerance, we try to handle the differences we have with others. Someone speaks differently, someone behaves differently, someone looks differently. We try to handle that, we try to manage that. If we manage that, if we handle that, we say we are tolerant, right? The other person has different opinion, I have different opinion. Still, I adjust with it, okay, no problem. So this is something we call tolerance, ability to handle differences of opinion of groups, religion, caste, etc. That too in a very dignified manner. You will not fight with this person. You will be okay. Okay, you have difference of opinion, you have difference of thought. Okay, this is tolerance. Now, one thing is, when you're tolerating, one narrow idea of tolerance is you are tolerating, and tolerating in itself is something very tough. You're managing yourself. It's a self-management mechanism wherein you're very angry on the other side because he has different opinions. So you're angry, but you're controlling your anger. You're controlling your anger. You're managing yourself. This is tolerance. This is one idea of tolerance. So let's say you live in the hostels and you have a roommate and he makes many noises, you know. You sleep at 9 o'clock, he doesn't sleep till 2 o'clock, so he keeps the light on, and you're tolerating this person. You're tolerating. Now, this idea of tolerance, it seems like it's a painful stuff. You don't feel good. You don't feel good. You are just managing things. You are stressed. This is one idea of tolerance. But the broader definition of tolerance, specifically given by Gandhiji or Buddha, they say tolerance is about love and respect for others. It's not about just handling and managing stuff and being in the stress. being constantly, hating. When you're managing this roommate, you're hating this person. But Gandhiji say that you should love. The real idea of tolerance is about love and respect. When you love someone, you actually become tolerant. So you see your mother, because she loves you. Even if you do many horrible things, she will tolerate you. That is because of love. Or if your parents are doing something horrible, because you love them, you have respect for them, you will tolerate them. So the real idea of tolerance is coming from loving or respecting your enemies or others as they are. Because see, you love this idea that they are different. And that's why what you do is you tolerate. Now this is a positive dimension of tolerance. Even there are many ideas from India. For example, this Vedic thought, Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuda Vadanti, which means truth is one. Truth is one. And many scholars will say it in different manners, but the truth is always one. This idea shows idea of tolerance, that we tolerate. It's not like one religion or one community, whatever they are saying, that's the only thing that is right. Rather, right thing is one, and it is being said in different manner by different communities or different groups. So this idea from India shows tolerance, which is based in love and respect and not in just self-management. Okay, and here you don't develop any stress in your mind or any hatred in your mind against others. Rather, you love them. Okay, it's a very broad idea of tolerance. You can write other examples also in answers, like Gandhiji's Sarva Dharma Samabhav, or our Constitution's Article 25 to 30, Article 19. All this talks about tolerance, right? Freedom of speech and expression. You have to tolerate. You don't have to tolerate not in a negative sense. You tolerate. You love people. Okay? You respect their opinions. That's how it works. Now, one good thing about tolerance is we like this tolerance, that society will be, very prosperous. There will be freedom of thought and expression, and communities will live in a very, free manner. But there is one problem with tolerance. We call it as paradox of tolerance. What do we mean by this paradox specifically? It's when you tolerate more, what happens? If you're tolerating a person more, that person starts becoming more aggressive, more assertive, and he starts asking for more. That's a problem with tolerance. Especially in many liberal democracies, this happens that there are rights given to minorities. There is idea of tolerance. So minority gets many rights, many protections, many things. Slowly it happens that the minority community will start becoming either more aggressive or will ask for more. Whatever they are getting, they'll start asking for more. And then the majority will start questioning this idea of tolerance itself. It's just because this majority tolerates, that's why these people are doing this. Such idea will come into picture. So tolerance, if it is more, there will be intolerance which gets developed. So this is a paradox. Now when this idea was suggested to J.S. Mill, what he said is, even if this paradox exists, it doesn't mean that we should stop tolerating. We should remove the tolerance altogether. He says we have to continue with the tolerance even if there is more aggression from the minority groups. So aggression in the form of like there will be more protest, radical protest, hate speech. There will be more demands from minority side. Even if it is there, he suggests we should continue with the tolerance. Otherwise, you can't have a good society. Okay. So you just remember this one dimension, that yes, there is one problem attached with this tolerance, which we have to accept. Okay. Now the next one, sympathy, empathy and compassion. Very easy, very simple to understand, very simple to write in the answers also. So many people get confused between sympathy and empathy first. Compassion we'll understand later on. See, simply understand. What do we mean by sympathy and empathy? Earlier, we used to think it's the same word because both of these words derive from the word called pathos. So, more or less, their meaning is same. But sympathy as a word came first, empathy later on. What is sympathy? See, you see someone crying and then you start feeling, this person is in pain, you also feel that. That's simply sympathy. But how it differs with empathy? So, I'll give you one simple example. There are three friends, A, B and C. Okay. Now, at A's home, his mother died. Right now, this incident happened. Now, this person is in pain, right? He's in pain. Now, his friend B comes. He's looking at A. A is crying. Obviously, he's crying a lot. B also started crying because he's feeling that pain. Here, you have this feeling part, or what we call as emotional element involved. He can feel the pain. The ability to feel the pain or sorrow of others is what we call as sympathy. When you just feel the pain of others. Okay. Now, one thing you need to understand, that B has never seen any death till now. In his family, nobody has ever died till now. Nobody died till now. He doesn't know what kind of pain A is going through. He doesn't know the depth of that pain. But he's feeling that because it's his friend, he can feel it. He's feeling. Now comes the next friend, that is C. There's one scenario attached with C. Just 10 years back, his father had died. His father died 10 years back. He knows when your loved one dies, what's the pain. He knows the depth of that pain. See one difference. When C comes and looks at A, C also feels the pain. But he understands the depth of the pain, which B can never understand because B has never experienced that. B doesn't know the depth. But C can understand the depth, what level of pain this person is going through. So if I see C, here I see empathy, not sympathy. Simply I have to jot down, in case of sympathy, there is only emotional element attached. You just feel the pain of others. You are feeling the pain of others. And here, you are different, other person is different. You're just feeling his pain. In case of empathy, what happens? There is cognitive element involved and there is emotional element also involved. Cognitive element is more important here. You can think and understand the depth of the pain. You can understand the mental state of this person. Mental state of the person. Here, rather, you become that person. I and other become the same persons. So there's a saying, putting the feet in the shoes of others. You become that other person. When you empathize with someone, you become that person. You can feel what this person is feeling. You can understand the depth of that person. You can understand everything. What is his mental state? You can understand his mental state. Now, it's not just about pain now. If the person is happy, you can understand his level of happiness also. If the person is depressed, you can understand that depressedness, that sadness also. You can completely understand that person. You become that person. That is empathy. Okay. So, sympathy is ability to feel the sorrow or pain of others. And these others could be human beings, animals, or any fictional character also. So, sometimes while watching movies, you feel the pain, you're watching some scenario and you start crying. That is sympathy. But you don't understand the depth of that feeling. which you feel in this case. In case of empathy, we call it ability to understand the mood or the mental state of others. Again, here others could be anyone. Here you are actually putting yourself in the shoes of others. You look at things from the perspective of that person. So this is empathy. Clear? Difference is clear. Obviously you understand that empathy is way higher than sympathy. Okay, empathy is way higher than sympathy. Now, as far as civil servants are concerned, in the foundational values, we expect civil servants to have empathy. We don't talk about sympathy. We expect you to have empathy, not sympathy. Obviously, sympathy gets added in it. Empathy means you understand things from the perspective of that person. Right? If a person, a very poor person comes to you, tells you his problem, you will completely understand that problem. So how do you develop this empathy? This is one question. So you can develop through many ways. In your family, in your schoolings, when that value education was taking place. So one of that value could be empathy that you learn from your family or your school. But there are other ways also. Like you read a novel. You must have seen many people while reading novel, they start crying or they start laughing. You start connecting with one character in that novel. Or just like novels, we have movies. While watching movies, you must have seen, sometimes you just connect with one character. You feel that character. So that's how, while just watching movie, you develop that value in you. So that's the reason it is said that make children read, make children watch movies, because that's the way through which they develop these values or this empathy as a value. So apart from novels, films, it could be different stories you tell to the children. That enforced contract. There's a scene in Swadesh movie wherein Shah Rukh Khan is sent to a person's home and he's asked to take money, bring money from that person, because that person is supposed to pay some amount of money. So he goes to the home of that person. That person starts crying, tells his entire story, how he struggles in life. He's not even able to earn enough money to just survive. When he listens to all that story, that's an enforced contract wherein he's sitting with that person and he develops this empathy. Okay, he starts looking things from his perspective. So that's one way. One of the way could be persuasion also. People, some good speakers or even teachers, they can tell you some good a scenario through which they can develop, they can develop empathy in you. They can do that because they're describing the scenario in such a way that you get into it. And role playing. When you play the role of others, you develop empathy. Right? So a manual scavenger, you do that task for one day. Not one day, just do it for 10 minutes. You'll start respecting that person and you'll start looking at the entire world through his prism. Right? So these are different ways through which you can actually develop empathy. Okay? Now, sympathy is clear, empathy is clear. I've added some examples over here. I.S. Armstrong, Payne, Durga Shakti and all. These examples you can directly utilize while writing answers. These will be very handy for you. Now, sympathy clear, empathy clear. What is compassion? Simply, whether you have sympathy or empathy, you add action in it. You see, even if you have sympathy or empathy, anything, you're a passive person. You're not doing anything now. You feel pain of others, but you're not doing anything. You feel very sad for your friend or someone who came to you at your doorstep asking for money, is very poor. You feel sad. You feel sad, you feel the pain of this person, but you're doing nothing. You're just sitting at your home. You're a very passive person. If after knowing the pain or after understanding the scenario, if you act, if you do some action, then we call that you are a compassionate person. So you remember at the COVID-19 time, there were many patients, many migrants were suffering, many people were suffering. At that time, Many people were writing on social media that I feel the pain for these migrants, very sorry. Many celebrities were also writing. But out of so many celebrities, one celebrity came forward, Sonu Sood, and he started doing something for these migrants. See this difference. He did some action. Others were empathizing. They were showing empathy. See, in itself, empathy is a good value. There were many people, they don't even care. They didn't even care about anyone. So they are pathetic people. But some people showed empathy or showed sympathy. Any of that? Good people. But out of these good people, even these good people are very passive. They are not doing any contribution. If they act, some of them who really act, do some action, we call them compassionate people. Okay? Compassion is the ability to feel and willingness to help anyone who is in pain. If you have the willingness to work, to do some action, to take some action to help this person who is in the wrong condition, then you are a compassionate person. Clear? So you can write example of Sonu Sood, you can write example of Buddha, any such examples you can mention. Clear with compassion? Now, the next value is dedication to public service and perseverance. So these are the two values that we need to know. Very easy. Dedication to public service. See, first understand commitment, then you will understand dedication. When we use the term commitment, that I am committed to something, I have commitment. That commitment brings a moral obligation on you. When you bring this value of commitment in you, there is a moral obligation on you that you have made a promise, you have to complete it. You have to complete that promise. There is a deadline or whatever that work is. You will do that thing. You will say, I must do it because I have a moral obligation to complete this thing. I am committed. I must do this thing. Whether I like it or whether I don't like it, doesn't matter. I like it or I don't like it, doesn't matter. I have moral obligation. I must do it. This is the idea of commitment, which involves sense of duty or sense of obligation for the promise that you have made. Okay. But when you say dedication, dedication is a bit different from commitment. When you say you're dedicated to a particular task or particular cause, here it's not about whether I like it or not. In commitment, what we said, even if I don't like, I must do it. Here, I love to do it. A dedicated person is someone who loves to do it, because here his emotions are involved. Whatever he is doing for that purpose, for that cause or for that work, his emotions are involved. His personal values are involved. Those values are aligned with that task. That's why the person is doing this particular activity. So when you say he's a very dedicated person, he's very passionate about it. There is no compulsion. He's not doing it because of any compulsion or any commitment as such. There is no moral obligation. He loves. His emotions are involved over here. He's loyal to this work. He's passionate towards this work. Okay? Such a person is called as dedicated person. And this person has very deep involvement in his work. That's very interesting. So person of dedication will be way ahead of a person having any commitment. Okay. Now we say a foundational value of civil services in India is a dedication to public service. Not just in India, but other countries too. Dedication to public service. You should have dedication, not just commitment. You should have dedication to do public service. You have that innate desire, even if there is no motivation. Let's say there is no external motivation. For commitment, at least you need some motivation that if we don't do this, this will happen. Moral obligation is there. But in case of dedication, you don't need any motivation. You do it by yourself. Your values are involved. Okay? You can write many examples. Dr. Baba Amte, Dr. Bhakti Yadav, I mentioned about her, at the age of 91 years, she is performing her duty as a doctor, a gynecologist. So, you can mention such examples that they are dedicated people. It's very difficult to see such dedicated people, and very interesting, means their life is really good. They love their job, whatever they are doing, they love it. Okay? That's one foundational value which you need to remember. The last is perseverance. Most of you already know what is perseverance. You have to persevere. So when you say perseverance, you persist in whatever you're doing, whatever action you're taking, whatever work you're doing, you keep on doing it, even if there are so many obstacles, even if there is lot of pressure, lot of obstacles, so many challenges, so many setbacks, you keep on doing it. You don't give up at all. You keep on doing it. That is perseverance. You see the life of Abraham Lincoln. In 1831, he lost his job. 32, he was defeated in state legislature. 33, failed in the business. He started a business, he failed. 35, he lost his sweetheart. She died. 36, he had a nervous breakdown. 43, defeated in Congress, defeated till 1956, and in 1958, he was defeated in the run for US Senate. So many obstacles, so many setbacks, so many failures. That too for such a long time periods in 1831 to 1858, 1860. You see, if there would have been any other person, he would have, gone for suicide or at least not done anything. He would have lost hope. This person did not lose hope. And 1860, he was elected as the President of United States of America. That is perseverance. Or many students preparing for UPSC, many clear in the 6th attempt also. That shows perseverance. You keep on doing your task or your course of action, even if there are many difficulties, even if there are many setbacks. Okay, that's a very rare quality in people. That is perseverance. Okay, you can write example of Nawazuddin Siddiqui also instead of Lincoln. Any example would work over here. You just don't need to worry about your failures. Even if your results are delayed, you don't care. You just keep on doing it. Okay. Then you can make such diagram if you want. Perseverance equals to hard work, patience, emotional strength, long-term focus, etc. And this is a very good line I found. While aptitude may help us start the journey, perseverance ensures we reach the destination. You understand? If you have got aptitude, initially you will get some advantage because of the aptitude, right? But to reach the final destination that you have in your mind, you need to persevere. Okay, very interesting, very important value, and we expect civil servants that they should have this value. Okay. Now, as far as these foundational values of civil servants are concerned, there are few values like these: integrity, objectivity, impartiality, dedication to public service, compassion towards weaker section. Compassion specifically towards the weaker sections of the society. These are the foundational values suggested by second ARC. Okay. And there are some other values like these: selflessness, integrity, objectivity, accountability, openness, honesty, leadership. These are suggested by Nolan Committee, which is from UK. So 7 principles of public life is what they call it. Okay, while writing answers, make use of second ARC report, make use of Nolan Committee report, and mention these values. And if they ask about a specific value, at least we have discussed the major values, the most important ones on which UPSC keep on asking. And anyway, we know these are the values which are important for the civil servants, right? Now, after this, the next topic that we are going to start, or that we will be starting, will be the intelligence part, or rather emotional intelligence. That is one important topic for us. So emotional intelligence will start tomorrow, we'll complete it tomorrow, and then we will head towards the philosophies, the moral thinkers and moral philosophers part. Okay. So this is where I wish to wrap up the session. Okay. Moral thinkers and philosophers will start after the emotional intelligence. Okay. If you have any doubts, you can ask, or just we will end the session today. No doubts? Okay then. So we'll wrap up the session. We'll meet in the next class. Thank you so much for joining.